Involved in our agriculture, science, and technology education programs use this opportunity to showcase their abilities in animal, plant, soil, horticulture sciences, as well as welding, fabrication skills, and management. All proceeds from the livestock show go directly back to the students to help further their educations at a university, college, or trade school. These same students are also provided leadership opportunities through the FFA organization to become tomorrow's leaders. The Aldine ISD Livestock Show has been one of the district's largest annual events since 1959.
In Class 1, we have Allison Garza, Jeffrey Mooney, Laura Sanchez,
use this
Julia
opportunity to
Hernandez,
showcase their
Amanda
abilities in
Tejerino,
animal, plant,
Leilani
soil,
Mendez,
horticulture sciences,
Dayara
as
Lara,
well as welding,
Aaliyah
fabrication
Rivera.
skills, and management. All proceeds from the livestock show go directly back to the students to help further their educations at a university, college, or trade school. These same students are also provided leadership opportunities through the FFA organization to become tomorrow's leaders. The Aldine ISD Livestock Show has been one of the district's largest annual events since 1959. Students involved in our agriculture, science, and technology education programs use this opportunity to showcase their abilities in animal, plant, soil, horticulture sciences, as well as welding, fabrication skills, and management. All proceeds from the livestock show go directly back to the students to help further their educations at a university, college, or trade school. These same students are also provided leadership opportunities through the FFA organization to become tomorrow's leaders. The Aldine ISD Livestock Show has been one of the district's largest annual events since 1959. Students involved in our agriculture, science, and technology education programs use this opportunity to showcase their abilities in animal, plant, soil, horticulture sciences, as well as welding, fabrication skills, and management. All proceeds from the livestock show go directly back to the students to help further their educations at a university, college, or trade school. These same students are also provided leadership opportunities through the FFA organization to become tomorrow's leaders. The Aldine ISD Livestock Show has been...
Judging our swine show today is Mr. Kevin Lynch. He served as an agriculture science teacher and swine advisor for Splendora ISD for 23 years. Once moving to the business office as the business manager in 2013, it was time to hire a replacement for those duties. Kevin retired in June of 2024 as the chief financial officer for Splendora ISD, but since has served as a consultant owner representative and is now back full-time with the district as their program manager for new bond construction. Kevin once owned and operated a 40-sow show pig operation in the 90s under the name of East Texas Connection, and is now head grunt and owner with his family of Lynch Livestock, a 25-sow showing pig operation based out of Cleveland, Texas.
Alrighty, welcome everybody to the 67th annual Aldine Livestock Show, and my name is Hugo Campa Jr. and
what's going on, baby boy? It's Chase Thibodeau, man, former alumni from the Eisenhower High School, baby. And, man, we came to watch some good pigs out here, man.
Exactly.
But before we start, I want to give a big shout-out to my mama, my daddy, my peoples for making this happen, man. Shout out Acres Home, boy. We love y'all. All right.
Alrighty. So right here, what we're looking at right now is the first class of pigs. As you can see, the judges standing in the middle, just watching them. And the most important parts when it comes to this is showmanship and how that pig looks. So you want to give us an idea of that market?
All right, so when we looking at these pigs, man, we not just looking for, the color of the pig. That's what people go off of, man. We looking at the muscle structure of the pig. See how that pig right there is right here? That pig muscle structure. You see how it's just built. You want almost a bodybuilder. But you're looking for the perfect balance of muscle and fat, a great combination of both. And then, right now we're trying to pick and see who showcases that pig better right now.
Exactly.
See what I'm saying? So far in this first class we got, is that what that say right there, young man? That say Austin. We got, what that say?
Allison.
We got Allison Garcia from Nimitz, Jeffrey Mooney from Nimitz, Laura Sanchez,
From MacArthur?
Julia Hernandez, Sandra. What that say?
Pinajero.
Okay. I'm gonna let you take over. I can't pronounce that.
Then we
I
got
can't pronounce
Dayara
that.
Lara. Then we have Aaliyah Rivera. And they're all here in the Class 1. And another good important factor when it comes to pigs is how they show them. So what I mean by show them is how the pig and the person that is with the pig look when the judge is looking at them. So what you really want to see is that eye contact. You want that eye contact when looking at the judge, especially. That's probably one of the most important parts. Also, you want to keep that pig's chin up, the head up. You don't want that pig's head looking down. And also making sure the pig looks clean on every angle. That's why people have brushes and wipes to clean them. And yeah, those are some big factors when it comes to the showman aspect of pigs.
All right. So they gave me a little book right here. I really didn't want to go off this book, but y'all know I'm gonna do what they tell me to do. So only the top 14 out of how many classes? 4 classes?
Yeah.
So out of 4 classes, only the top 14 will make it to auction to potentially win thousands of dollars. You know, we got some guys out here. We got some nice looking pigs. I think the competition pretty stiff, man. So it's all up to this judge to make a well educated decision. You know, this is his bread and butter, so this shouldn't be too hard for him. But this more of a MacArthur versus Nimitz class right here, man.
Yeah, more MacArthur kids on this class than pretty much any other.
So tell me, what kind of, do they put in the work though? Do they really get in their bag?
Yeah, man. I feel like just in general from these schools, you can kind of tell who
puts in the work,
who really
who
puts in
doesn't.
that work, and you know, and that's the most important aspect. You know, like as long as you put in that work, you will get results.
As long as you putting in the work, man, you gonna see results. You know, you gonna see. They might be overlooked, but at the end of the day, you can go to sleep knowing, hey, I put in the work. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yeah, that's the most important part. You know.
You know, and then and from watching these pigs from little babies come up in a timely manner, they put in some money in this, man. This is a financial sport just as well as a time sport, man.
Exactly.
You can't come out here BS. You got to know what you're talking about, man.
Mhm.
Yes, sir. I like that boy right there. Boy with the glasses right here. He's showing. You see how he getting low?
Yep.
But he's not giving too much eye contact. This young lady right here, she was giving a little eye contact, man. Y'all gotta give me something to brag about, man.
Yep. And that judge is now talking to one of the teachers, probably speaking about which animals he kind of likes, which ones he doesn't like. And what you really want is to be put in those cages, those little pens.
For the first round, you do want to get put in first, man.
Yeah.
You want to get put in first, so that means he already has a sense of idea of what your pig looks like and everything of that nature. So we're going ahead and pin them up. And, you know, if you get pinned up that second round, that's no good. You know, so it's kind of in your best. Damn, I ain't got no big word. Oh, I can't say that.
Best interest.
Yeah, but it's not in your best interest to be the last one in and the first one out.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Yes, sir. But these are some pretty well balanced pigs. It's a tight competition in Class 1.
Exactly.
Especially ranging from the 210 to the 243 classes. So, you know, there's not too many showers out here though. We ain't got guys really showing right now. See, what they need to do is they need to put their eyes on the judge just as much as they're put on that pig.
Exactly.
See what I'm saying? I feel like the attention needs to be swapped between the attention on that pig right here, like this young lady right here. She's showing it. She's giving them eye contact, but she needs to turn that pig around and go back yonder.
Exactly.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, showmanship is just as important as that market build. How the animal looks, how the pig looks, you know, is just as important as that. You know, showing them is just, you know, is the same factors, all factored in.
Yeah. You know, some of these animals, man, not particularly this show, but you know, other shows, they particularly sell within the $10,000 to $100,000 just for a pig. You know. Yep. I highly encourage people to really take interest into the sport. You know, if you don't, everybody like money. You know, if you don't like money, I don't know what you like. You know, But you gotta also have a knack for the animals, you know.
Yeah, it's the passion, you know.
It's more passion, more so passion than the finances.
Yeah, exactly. You know, you have to have that passion. You know, like if you don't have passion for these animals or have the want or the desire to put in that work, you know, you won't get the results that you want.
Exactly.
So.
But you know, some people do just luck up and they get a good pig, and you know they could you know do half the work and still reap the benefits though. So it's a plethora of things that add up to that summary. You know what I'm saying? Big
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. You know, and the longer that the class goes on, longer and longer, you know, the more these pigs get tired, and that's where it really shines how these trainers train these pigs. You know, because once they get in these pens longer and longer, you know, they get tired and they don't want to move. They don't want to pay attention to their handler. So
that's where that time and effort comes in place. We're gonna really see who's been putting in that work.
Exactly.
You know, I like when their head is up, eyes on the judge. See, guys, he's not right here, this young man right here with this do-rag, he's not getting stressed out. He's getting in his comfort zone, head up, looking at the judge. I really think he's going to take it home. I think he's going to get first in this class.
All righty,
Just watching the way he's smooth with the whip. He's not too heavy-handed on the whip, putting it right in place, going to that judge every time.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Just showing all the hind legs, which is his strong suit. Just a well-balanced pig, in my opinion. And that would be Jeffrey Mooney from Nimitz. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Already. See, he about to go ahead and pin him up real quick. Let's see, man. We already covered all this, huh?
What?
We covered all this, huh?
Yeah. We covered all that.
You want to take this right here?
Yeah, man. So, like how piggybacking off of what he said about how some animals go for hundreds of thousands of dollars. One of the big rodeos that do that, obviously, is the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo, and that Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo is the largest one in the world, attracting over 2.5 million visitors every year. You know, there's attractions, carnivals, and then there's attractions, then there's concerts, and then the most important part, obviously, is that rodeo and that livestock show.
That's where you win your big money right there.
Yeah,
that
exactly.
Houston rodeo. You know, that's where you win your big money at, big dog. But tell me more about your career. Tell me how your FFA career has been so far, man.
Alrighty.
This your last year, and how do you intend to go out, you know?
Yeah. So, my sophomore year, I did chickens, or I did broilers, and then I did lamb. So my lamb I didn't place, but my chickens I did place. I got fit. And going into my sophomore year, I didn't really know anything, none of the livestock show, how that works, any of that. So going into my junior year, I kind of had a good idea, and I was like, you know what, let me try to put in some more work on my lamb, because I didn't really know much my sophomore year. So going into my junior year, I trained my lamb probably every day, nonstop, working on her showmanship, how she looks, and I also, at the same time, was working with my chickens. And luckily enough, I got grand champion showmanship, so I ended up getting a buckle for my lamb, and I got fifth overall. And then for my chickens, I made fifth again. And so far, going into my senior year, you know, this is my last year, I'm only doing lambs, trying to go put all my effort into that lamb. And hopefully tomorrow I win big. You know, if not, that's okay. I just know I put in that work and that effort.
As long as you can lay your head down tonight knowing that you put in the work.
Exactly.
My story is a little bit different, man. You know, since I was a baby, you know, coming out of Acres Home, you know, it was a very rural area.
Yeah.
To be an inner city school, but just been around animals, and I can just kind of learn from bits and pieces from everybody, and I can add it to a whole.
Yeah.
You know?
Good morning, and it's sure good to be back here in Aldine at the M.O. Campbell Center to once again judge your market hog show. It's always been a neat event for me to do. The very first time that I walked into a basketball stadium was one thing for a public school district, but to see a livestock show taking place and the efforts that it took to get this point and to have a livestock show inside this event space was amazing to me, and it still is. You walk in and it's just a neat environment. It's got good folks, good kids, good teachers, and a stand full of good fans. So let's give all these kids a big round of applause. It's got to be loud. They're your kids. Be proud of them, and we'll get through this day fairly quick. There's not a lot of numbers. In this lightweight class, you have a lot of different types and kinds as typical in a lightweight class. If you look at the weight breaks, they're pretty large from lightest to heaviest. There's some diversity in that weight range, and there's also some diversity in type and kind. I'm going to talk about balance most of the day, and it's not going to be the thickest one. It's not going to be the heaviest boned one. It's not going to be the shortest bodied or the longest bodied, but it's going to be those that balance up and put those kind of traits together in a sound, functional package that has some look from the side. This is still a pageant of market hogs. It has no real relevance to the real world market when it comes to your plate, although it's probably one of the closest to that. But they still got to look good for me. They still got to be flexible off both ends of their skeleton, and they got to balance up. In this particular class, young lady's gilt there in the corner, if we'd get her out and get her up through this middle of the ring here, you kind of see that balance, the heaviest of structure and amount of muscle and enough look up through that front end. She gets a little moderate in her frame size, but then again, this is a lightweight class. She gets that head up and goes across the ring as she does now. You can see her gather feet and legs and everything and kind of go. And a moderate, if you're going to be picky, a little moderate size, frame size pig, but still balances up the best for me in terms of base width, bone structure, roundness of rib, and heaviest of muscle. Next, we come with one, the young lady's bear here, that's got a little more look about her. Its profile, just not as wide base and heavy structured as the one that beats him in class. If I could combine these two, we get to the middle point of having one that's big enough in its kind and have one that's heavy enough structured. The two just don't have that balance between themselves, and that's what separates them from me. I like, again, a little more width the base, a little more foot size and heaviness of structure as compared to the pig that we use in second compared to one. Coming out in three is the most moderate one that we've had in the class, and the one that kind of detracts from his look and fancy side profile up through his chest floor and front end. Probably a little over conditioned for me today for frame size, one that you'd like to clean up through that head and front, neck and front end right there. But when you get on him in terms of roundness of rib and amount of back shape and muscle going away and the amount of foot size and structure that one has, he gets more close to what we use to win the class, but just not as clean and elegant up through that front end as we'd like to see him. But a nice functional market bear that just lands here in third. Coming in fourth, we bring one that resembles a lot that the second place hog had there in this particular class. Long-sided, not as cool and clean up through its front end as that first place hogs were. This one too just comes at me base narrow, goes away base narrow. Like to see this one a bigger feet, bigger feature in terms of structure, heavier bone, and get off those hind legs a little better than what we saw. I would like to compliment the young man with the Duroc in the herd. He had one that kind of balanced up pretty good to me, just way too frail for me in terms of his bone makeup, but the young man did a great job of showing, made the best of what he could in that Duroc hog in this particular bride. Nice lightweight class. As you see as we go into your next three classes, you won't see the variance in weight that we saw in this class, so we ought to see a lot of the same shape and kind. We'll see. Let's give these kids another round of applause as we go on to your next class.
I got you a water.
Next class we got.
We first name out the people who got first class.
Go ahead.
So 8th place was Allison Garcia.
Ending our first weight class, we have 8th place, Allison Garcia from Nimitz. 7th place, Dyra Laura from MacArthur. 6th place, Julia Hernandez from MacArthur. 5th place, Jeffrey Mooney from Nimitz. 4th place, Aaliyah Rivera from Aldine. 3rd place, Sandra Tenejero from MacArthur. 2nd place, Lilani Mendez from MacArthur. And coming in first in our lightweight class was Laura Sanchez from MacArthur. And then being invited back for showmanship, Jeffrey Mooney and Aaliyah Rivera.
I think he gonna win that grand in the showmanship. I think he gonna win that grand. All right. Coming in class 2.
First call for class 2. Jolie Broussard, Caitlin Lincoln, Catherine Benitez, Anna Puente, Javion Gibson, Franklin Cedillos, Caden Johns, Elia Perez, and Genesis Sanchez.
Well, I guess I ain't got to say that, huh? Really? All right, in this class, we're looking for more of a more fat to muscle ratio coming into these bigger classes, to carry that much weight. That's kind of what we're looking at. We're not looking at as much muscle, but as the bone structure and the build of it.
Yep. Yeah, man, and everything applies. The same thing we said for the first class applies for these for the second class. It's just obviously they're a little bit bigger.
And coming out this gate, I feel like that's that's your first impression.
Exactly.
Head up, chin up. We got my boy, little man out here working that stick. That guy right there, he works hard, man. He works hard day in, day out. Showing that, trying to give him the best view possible.
Yep. Yeah, like going off of what he said, yeah, this is the first impression,
We got my
them to look
cousin
good.
out here, man, Caden Johns out here coming out here. Hey, I taught him a little something. I told him that
All
right there. Well, just go ahead, walk him, keep him in his area. Don't crowd them, but kind of give them some space, but make sure, like right here, just showing them what I got, trying to show him that, hey, I got the best pig out here. That's kind of what we're looking at right now.
Exactly. Yeah, man. Yeah, and another big factor that you don't want to see with pigs is there's a thing called, I think it's buddy, where two pigs are close to each other, like leaning with each other. That usually happens because someone else's pig has
a deep bond with the other
pig. Either has a deep bond with the other pig or that pig is just too scared and wants to be with the pig. But that can also hurt your chances, obviously, when it comes to getting placed, because the judge does not want to see that.
And you can tell that these pigs have been trained because they're not running on that fence line. That's how you know you haven't really spent no time with your pig, because if you run on that fence line, that's his comfort zone, that's his safety zone. So as an exhibitor, you need to kind of work it out his comfort zone and put it out there.
Exactly. Yep. Yeah, and these people with these red
Do-rocks?
these red do-rocks, man. Yeah. You could see it.
I love everybody out here, man, but when I see them 3 letters right there, that IKE, man, that swoop, man. Hey, man, that's
MP&D, man. Mac. Let's go, Mac.
I see 4 out of 4. That's who I want. First, second, third, fourth. Oh, 5. My bad. 5.
All righty, man. We will see.
We
will see.
But yeah, man. So Caden Johns right here, man. He's doing a good job. You see how that judge got his eyes on him right there. Right there. He got his eyes on him. He like what he see, giving him a good picture, good visual. Now he got his eyes on that one right there. Now he just kind of scoping out. He's pretty much already seen what he wants. He just trying to scope him out. He's trying to place him now. He knows what he likes. The judge already knows what he likes.
Exactly, yep.
So now he's just trying to give him, the benefit of the doubt. Try to show him off something he ain't seen before, or probably pinpoint some of the imperfections and the perfections as well. Man, push him over some. Oh, come over here. You feel his face?
He's already picking who he likes.
Oh yeah, he's already started his pinning process. So we already got one Eisenhower exhibitor in there first. We go ahead and get Mr. Gibson in there second. I like that do-rock right there though, that red do-rock right there. That's what I like right there. And now that's a nice pig right there. I think, me personally, coming from a personal standpoint, I think Class 2 is probably more so of your better class out of all of them. Most of your grand champs, they all circle back to a Class 2 pig.
That's true.
From
That
the
is true.
previous years, because they have the best balance between the muscle and fat ratio.
Yeah. And also, it also pretty much is dictated by the judge too. You know, some judges like bigger
They have
pigs.
different preferences.
Sometimes they like a little bit smaller. So it goes down to preference with the judge too. But most of the time, it's always in that middleweight that those grand champions get picked. But obviously, you can have a chance with those big pigs too. It's not that.
It's not unheard of. You know, that's just the judge's personal preference. But if you just got a pig that's just sticking out like a sore thumb, sure, you can't help that, you know?
Yep.
You know?
Yeah. I've always thought pig showing was always really hard in my opinion. Just, you know, there's so much stuff there's so much little things you need to work on, you know, like the head, the body movements, how long they look. You don't want them too crunched up, you know, and then you don't want them on the wall, of course. I always thought like there's a lot of stuff you need to think about. So, you know, round of applause to all these exhibitors, because, you know, having to worry about that all at the same time while looking at the judge, you know, you're not able to look at your pig all the time, not too much, because that's when the judge starts looking at you like maybe he's not training that animal. So I always, you know, round of applause to these exhibitors, because it's really hard, you know, to get these pigs to look the way that they should and how you want them to look. So, you know, round of applause for sure.
And as an exhibitor, you just have to kind of know, depending on, you know, your experience, you should know what to feed an animal. You know, there's feeds out there that kind of targets particular areas of that pig, and I feel as an exhibitor, it's your job and your responsibility to kind of know the downsides of your pig, and, you know, pinpoint it and improve on that, but also trying to keep a balance. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
We don't want a pig with a strong top line and a saggy belly. You know what I'm saying? We kind of want everything even out.
Yeah, exactly. That's one of the most important parts. You know, everything even. You don't want one too big, like in the rear, and like skinny in the front. You know, so it's always that evenness that you want when it comes to these pigs. The judge is now giving his final thoughts to these final pigs, and once he's done with that, then they're gonna start naming the placements for this class soon enough. So. He's starting to open up these pens, and this is where he starts to really place these pigs, his top picks for this class. And this is one of the most important parts. If you're in that pen coming out, you want to give a good first impression, because this is where you will be placed, for your class. And later on in the once the classes are almost done, we'll talk about how the champion drive is, how that works. But right now, he's just picking his top in this class.
I told you, boy, them Ike kids gonna be the last ones in there, man. I told you that. I told you. I told you, boy. Didn't I tell you? I told you. I told you. I know it. I know what I be talking about. I know what I be talking about. Now it's all down to what he likes the most, These two right here, these three right here, just showing their behinds off, man.
Yeah, this is where the competition gets really steep because
very stiff.
Yeah, because
these animals, just every animal has its own personalities, its own uniqueness. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Some have a better behind end, some have a better hind quarters, some has a better top end, more of the tricep area.
Yeah, and once it gets this stiff, it starts to get into that showmanship. That's where he starts to pick.
How can you present it the best?
Yeah. Because all the animals might look really good, but what's that deal breaker is how good are you at showing that animal,
Right.
So that's why showmanship is just as important.
I kind of favor this pig a little bit more, though. I kind of favor his build, Really, he just have a well-balanced pig, I feel like we could trim that stomach up, but,
Definitely give these kids a round of applause. This is one of those deals that if you choose to flip these three in exact opposite order, I'm not going to argue with you a bunch, because that was the decision in my mind where you had to put one, and you either started one or you set him third, and that's what I chose to do for reasons we'll talk about. I chose to use young lady one. It just comes, the balances up when you start picking these three apart. She's wide enough coming at us. She's square to the ground on both ends as you view them coming and going away, which was kind of a deciding factor to bring her to the top of the class. If you're going to pick on that one, I'd like to soften her up in her middle part of her body, maybe not be quite as long-bodied as she is. I'd like to shorten her up in terms of body length, but clean, elevated up to that front end, balances up good for me. I'd like to stouten her up as in terms of footwork, bone work there, but she's big enough in her rear leg, and that's another deciding factor between her and the pig in second. Young man that stands there in second, pig's wanting to fight him quite a bit, but when this one comes at you, he kind of wants to run narrow to the ground out of his shoulder, not as square and bold at that front end as the hog that beats him in class, not as big-footed, not as big boned as the hog that beats him in class, not off by far, but when you get in on top of that one, got a big back shape, big fresh shape, got a good look down his top, and goes behind, and you get behind him, doesn't quite go away as square and true as he should, but he's good enough to be in this particular class. Really tall and extended up through his front end. Young man wants to work on that head a little too hard. It kind of impedes the movement in the class, but that's part of getting one's head up. Young lady comes in third. She's winning for a long time, but the more this thing goes, the more restricted he gets off his hind leg. Definitely the heaviest structured in my kind in terms of bone work and footwork. Got a real good look from the other side of him because his ear's down on this side, which I don't care. He can have ears straight down, no ear, whatever. That doesn't factor for me. But one that you got to admire for checking off a lot of those boxes. Just need to make him sounder as he goes off through his front end. Maybe elevate him and clean him up through his front end as compared to the class winner. Young man coming here in fourth has got one that's another competitive bearer to be down here. Just too frail in his bone makeup for me. Got a good look from the profile. Does a good job of getting him stuck, but just not as cool up through that front end as say the class winner that we had, but just to not stouten him up and clean him up through his front end to move up any higher in class. Let's give those kids a round of applause as they go back.
Closing out Class 2, we have Franklin Cedillos from Aldine High School finishing in 9th place. Catherine Benitez from Aldine in 8th place. 7th place, Elia Perez from Ike. 6th place, Genesis Sanchez from Nimitz. 5th place, Anna Puente from MacArthur. 4th place, Javion Gibson from Ike. 3rd place, Jolie Broussard from Ike. 2nd place, Caden Johns from Ike. And finishing out first, Caitlin Lincoln from Ike. Coming back for showmanship will be Jolie Broussard, Caitlin Lincoln, Catherine Benitez, and Franklin Cedillos. First call for Class 3, Jason Martinez, Adriana Ayala, Alan Suarez, Priscilla Sosa, Chastity Dobbins, Daniel Perez, Jonathan Lindero, Emma Villanfana, and Vanessa Alvarado.
Once he starts judging the other one, I guess we'll hop on Mike again.
Yep. All right, going into Class 3. So, yeah. So, class, or you want to announce it? Or okay.
And we're back. I switched out a little bit, but now in Class 2, the following ones were the ones that placed. In spot number 3, we have Jolie from Ike. In spot number 1, sorry, I read it all backwards. In spot number 1 from Ike, we have Caitlin Lincoln. In spot number 2 from Ike as well, Johns Caden. In spot number 3, Jolie Broussard, also from Ike. Spot number 4, we have, I don't know what Ike's been doing, man, but they have so many people placing up top.
Yep.
They got Javion Gibson in spot number 4. Hey, man, Ike's been taking over this year.
Yeah. Number 5 would be Ana Puente from MacArthur. Number 6 would be Genesis Sanchez from Nimitz. And number 7 would be Eli Perez from Ike. And number 8 would be Catherine Binentes from Aldine. So now going into class 3, you know, this is when it starts to get more heavier. That class is bigger and bigger. So, you know, same thing applies with class 1, 2, going into class 3. You know, first impressions coming into the ring. You want to have good eye contact, chin up, pigs posture good, how their width looks, how long they look. You know, so you know that's the most important parts coming into here.
So what's the difference between the first, second, and third class? What is he looking for more right now than he was back then?
Man, I feel like now he's starting to look more to, he's trying to figure out if it's just fat or if it's actual muscle density, I feel like. Because in first and second class, it's a little bit easier to really figure that out, you know, because they weigh less. And so I'm guessing he's looking more into just the weight, you know, is the weight actually muscle built? Like is it built with muscle? And if it's like lean, or is it just straight fat? You know, I feel like that's where he starts to look at more now going into these heavier classes.
Yeah.
And also just the stamina from the trainer to the pig, you know, because the heavier they get, the harder it is for the pigs, you know, to start moving and
So
more energy they waste.
It's playing back into that showmanship too.
Yeah, go straight back into showmanship. You know, the heavier they are, you know, the more tired they get. So, you know, that's where, you know, it stands out the most in the heavy classes. Yeah, I have a couple Mac kids in here, you know, MP&D, you know, let's go Mac. But in general, let's go everybody, you know, putting in this work and all this work and time and effort into these pigs, you know. Good luck to all these exhibitors.
It's a lot of work. Even back then when I graduated back in 21, and that was the year I did my first pig and my last. I didn't get to do any other animal. But even back then, it was expensive. It's hard work. You just got to be out there, man.
Yep. Yeah, no. Yeah, like congratulations to all these exhibitors. You know, being able to come into the ring. You know, being able to show off what you have been working with and what you know, and hopefully, obviously, everybody wants a place. So. Yeah, same thing applies. You want to get in those cages, those pens. You know, you want to be one of the first ones to get in there. But how was your experience back? You know, when you graduated? Like, what's the differences you see when you were there to how it is now?
Well, for the most part, COVID,
yeah, yeah.
We had to make a lot of changes, especially since we had to wear a mask. And like I said, the whole part of showmanship is that it's a sport.
Yeah.
You're out there, you're sweating, you're putting your energy into this animal, you're trying to lead them around, and pigs are stubborn. They're twice your weight sometimes, and man, wearing a mask and trying to show off at the same time, it wasn't the best.
Yeah, I know.
But like I said, it's the same old every year. It's the same hard work, it's the same sweat you put into building your project. And all I can say really is that I'm glad I at least got to do it once.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot of money and time, you know.
It is.
You know, like a lot of people think it's just, I have, you know, a pig or have a lamb or goat, but you're really putting in a lot of work. You know, this is like a sport, you know. So going into showing or trying to raise animals, you know, you have to like think about it. Am I going to put the work? Am I going to be dedicated enough to actually go to the barn every day consistently and train my animal? You know, so it's not just for the faint of heart, you know. And being able to do it once is, you know, is awesome, you know, because you're able to experience it.
So now we're down to the last 5.
Yep.
And what is he looking for in these last 5? I know it's a lot of pigs in each one of these classes, and only a select few make it to the actual the final round.
Well, pretty much like he's already picked his best, you know, but there's still some pens open, so obviously there's still some more that he wants to pick out of these 5. Yeah. But pretty much is like he's really looking at how like how long these pigs are and if the weight actually fits with the length of these animals, you know, because you don't want a stubby pig but really, really big, you know, because that just looks like a little ball.
Yeah.
And same thing applies like when it's a longer pig, you know, you're able to put more weight into these animals compared to if it was a shorter pig. You know, every pig has its own needs, but I feel like going into these last 5 is where he really figures out like, oh, how did these look, and how equal does everything look to these pigs, you know?
Yeah. And going back into showmanship, what can you tell me a little bit about the stands they're holding right now? What are they trying to do with the pig? How are they trying to lead it around?
So pretty much what they're really trying to do is keep the pigs. So we're going first with the pigs, like how the pigs look, is you want to keep the chin up. You don't want the head looking down or on the floor. You want them to look up, and then you want them, wherever you hit the whip, left or right, you want them to move that way, and you also want to keep eye contact with the judge. You don't want to stop keeping eye contact with the judge. You can look to your pig every now and then to see what's going on with them, but most of the time you don't want to keep looking at your pig, because that's when the judge sees how you're showing and is not really gonna like it when you're just looking at your pig.
Yeah.
So eye contact, chin up with the pig. You want the judge pretty much looking at your pig at all time. You know, you kind of want to be like selfish. You know, you want him to see you at all times. But obviously the judge is gonna be moving around, and you don't want to be like in his way. So
yeah.
it's a balance between both. Yeah, and like these brushes and these rags they have, they're there to help clean the animal. You know, you want them to look as good as possible when the judge is viewing them. So it's a lot of little small details that come with showing these pigs. Now he's gonna start taking these pigs out of these pens now, and this is where he's gonna start placing his top picks for this class. So, you know, most important parts, walking out, you know, first impression, you wanna make sure that pig looks perfect coming out of that pen. You know, this is where showmanship really matters too. You know, it matters in general, but, you know, coming into these last picks, you know, he's gonna really check how good are you at showing that animal. Because all of these pigs look good, you know. They all look good in their class.
Attention,
so now it's a mix between both.
If you are not
showmanship
currently
and
exhibiting
market.
swine, or you are authorized livestock show staff, please take a seat in the stand. Repeat, if you are not exhibiting swine right now, or you are not authorized livestock show staff, please take a seat in the stands.
This is where he starts going. He goes, how much pigs are in here? 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 pigs, right? Yeah, he goes from 4th to 1st. So he picks his best 3 at the end. So he already picked his 4th. So now it's pretty much just these 3. You know, how good are you? How good are you going to be at showing these animals? You know, I see a Mac kid, you know, I see a Davis kid.
There goes Eisenhower again.
And then Eisenhower, yep.
I do not know what Eisenhower's been doing with their pigs this year, but somehow
Yeah, man.
they got some really good placings.
Secret sauce, who knows, man?
Yeah. And it all goes back to the advisors too.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you can't have a good barn without a good advisor.
Yep.
I know me back then, my advisors, thankfully, they're still working here at Aldine. They were a big part of me actually making to sell. Daily training, they kept up with my supplements, made sure I was feeding them correctly.
Yep.
And it doesn't seem like it, but what you feed these pigs also goes back into how they're built.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's not just training too. Yeah, it's that diet, you know, what you feed them, what times you feed them too, because there's sometimes people feed them late at night and then they feed them like in the evening, you know. Having a good schedule of feeding times is really important to how these animals grow, you know. So you want to feed them in the morning and feed them in the afternoon, and you know you don't really want to stray away from the feeding, because those pigs start to not know when they're going to get fed, and the time when they start getting hungry is gonna be wider, and then they start to lose their fat, all the muscle they've been building up. So it's really important too, that feeding.
Yeah, and most people think that fat is a big part about a pig, but you also got to think about that muscle. Like you said, the more muscle you got into that fat, it makes it look more toned, more lean in some spots.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it just gives it a nice build all in general.
Yeah, it's a good mix between both.
Yeah,
you know, you want them to have a good enough amount of fat and also a good enough amount of muscle, you know, because obviously when it goes down to how you process these animals, you don't want a super fatty animal and like with little muscle. You know? You want a good balance between both. But yeah, these top three. He's picking his top three. Oh wow, yeah. First in class Emma.
Definitely, big round of applause for these young individuals, and pretty nice trio up here on the top side, but I chose to use the young lady, and a deciding factor on this one mainly is when she's got a head up and coming right at you, this is the boldest one underneath. It leaves you as the boldest one underneath and square from behind, heavy bone, big footed, sound and flexible, and when that head finally goes up and goes, it kind of puts that whole package together in one that's not excessive in its body length. I think if you're going to get critical on that one, I mean, that's about as much muscle as you want to put in one from behind in today's day and time, but it doesn't impede the way she flexes off her hip and hind leg. Very nice, balanced up, good looking kind of a deal. My kind right there in terms of body length. Got that good look up and skull shape up front. It was a toss up here in second and third, and basically squareness from behind as they go away is what got me, and body length. This particular hog here most resembles the hog that wins the class in terms of body length and look. I'd like to see that one with its head up in the air to really kick off that look from behind, that in a profile standpoint, but moderate in its body length, heavy enough in structure, wide enough and square enough from behind as we compare it to the hog that comes in here in third. The hog comes here in third, just a little longer bodied for ideal, and is compared to the two that beat him in class. And then when you get behind him, he wants to set them things down a little narrow as he goes away, but you really have to admire the presentation, showmanship of the young man. You like that up-headedness and that cleanliness up through that head and front end. Got a big stout mug there that, you know, sometimes that stout jaw and that tail head size is what kind of predicts a lot of grow and ability to do things right in particular hog market that we're in. But this one's stout featured, just a little longer sided, like to drop her in her flank just a little bit to balance her up. Key factor for me though again was those hind legs as she went away, and the narrowness as compared to the two ahead of him in class. Young man has a nice outline, cool fronted kind of a deal going there, just too narrow and green as compared, not as fresh appearing as compared to the three hogs ahead of him in class. Again, a little longer sided as you view the first two that win the class. Heavy enough structured for me, but I'd say more you can put on underneath those things and go, the better we are. But very nice pig to stand up and forward. Let's go ahead and give them a round of applause as we head to your last class.
Finishing out our third class, 9th place, Adriana Ayala. 8th place, Vanessa Alvarado. 7th place, Priscilla Sosa. 6th place, Alan Suarez. 5th place, Chastity Dobbins. 4th place, Jonathan Lindero. 3rd place, Jason Martinez. 2nd place, Daniel Perez. And 1st place, Emma Villafana. Coming back for showmanship will be Jason Martinez, Daniel Perez, and Emma Villafana.
All right, so for first, or we'll go from, so 9th in class would be Adriana Ayala. 8th would be Vanessa Alvarado from MacArthur. 7th would be Priscilla Sosa from Aldine. 6th would be Alan Suarez from
First call for class
Aldine.
4, Ashelon Jones, Riley, Josephat Venegas, Marcus Ramos, Camila Zuniga, Karen Alcarez, Esteban Martinez, Kaylee Hidalgo, Alyssa Martinez, and Jackson Dodd.
The phone turned off, so we couldn't see the classes, but they had announced it up on the intercom. All right, going into our last class, class 4. So here we have Ashelon Jones, Riley Haduk. Then we have Marcus Ramos, Camila, Karen, Esteban, Kaylee, Alyssa, Jackson, and what is that? How do you say that?
Josephat.
Okay. But yep. So this is the heaviest class. You know, this is the heaviest class. Seems pretty big class.
Yeah, most of these weigh more than I do, and I know I weigh a lot.
Yeah, they weigh double my weight, so.
And just leading these big animals, it's, oh man.
Yeah, I know.
I remember how sweaty I was after my ring. I was drenched in sweat. I had the mask on and everything.
And then on top of that is like, it might be freezing cold inside the room, like inside the arena. The second you get in there, your body starts heating up, you know. And like it didn't even feel like it was cold.
No.
You know, it feels like you were in a sauna for like hours.
Yeah, and not just that. Also before the show, you get a little nervous too, seeing all the animals out here.
Exactly.
Because they all look beautiful. They're all huge.
Yeah.
But it really comes down to how good you're gonna lead this animal, how good you're gonna show it off, and it kind of gets you a little nervous. But
yeah, for sure.
like I said, I played sports throughout high school, and this one right here has been the one that made me sweat the most.
Yeah. Yeah, no, yeah. This is the exercise, man. It's nerve-wracking.
I want to say it's one of the better sports that you could play in high school.
Yeah, for sure. You know, and like on top of that, these animals they can feel how you feel. You know, like they can tell. You know, they can tell if you're nervous. They can tell if you're like a little anxious because they start to replicate that. You know, so you want to come in this ring confident, strong. Obviously, you'll be a little nervous. You know, that's something that happens.
Which is fine.
Which is fine. That comes with with going in things like this. But coming in confident, and the judge will see that. You know, he can tell if you're nervous and if you're not. You know, and coming into this ring, you want to be as confident as possible. You know, you put all your time, all your effort into these animals, and you don't want to ruin it by you being nervous. You know, this is your time to shine, and this is your time to show the judge how much work you put into these animals. And just have fun. That's the biggest part. Have fun.
And then going back into that time, just training with these animals, it's a work, man. I want to say it's probably a second job.
Yeah, for real. No.
We used to spend maybe 4 or 5 hours out there in the ring trying to get these animals to lead. Sorry, not getting the animals to lead. Me trying to lead the animals.
Yeah. Yeah, and
it's tough. Pigs are stubborn. They want to lead themselves. They want to go where they want to go. So. Just
exactly.
Getting them to go where you want to go, that's an accomplishment on its own.
Yeah. And, I feel like the earlier you start training, the better, because when you first get them, they're small, tiny, they're little babies. Like,
yeah, keep in mind, you pick these animals up when you first get them. You're supposed to load them up into a trailer yourself.
Yep, exactly. And these, if we showed photos of how these pigs looked, 4 or 3 months ago, you wouldn't even recognize, most of these. They're small, they look like little puppies. And... and like you making sure you train them right in the beginning is really important. You know, you don't want to train them later on in the season because these animals start to get used to a schedule and a certain way of living already. You know, so training them earlier kind of gives them that, like, makes them remember, oh, this is my regimen, this is what I should be doing, you know. So it's always good, you know, the earlier the better.
Yeah, they can make it, break it.
Yep, exactly, make or break. And, you know, like, it's also, it shows you how dedicated you are to these animals. You know, sometimes it might be raining or freezing cold, like how it's been these past couple weeks. You know, that's where you start to really shine. You know, show off how dedicated you are in the cold with your animal. You know, working, training these pigs. You know, and that work will show off when you're with the judge.
Hey, these are nice looking pigs, man.
Yeah, for sure. I see a couple Mac kids in here. You know, couple Mac kids, couple Aldine kids, Nimitz. You know, them three.
Yeah, I'm a little biased with Aldine because since I graduated from there, I want to say they have the best shot, but it's anybody's game, man.
Yeah, it is. You know, you always want to, you know, root for your team, obviously.
Yeah.
But also, you know, respect everybody else's effort. You know.
Yeah.
But obviously, yeah, you know, MacArthur, man, let's go. Let's go, Mac. Come on. And also another big factor into these pigs is also how you look at them. You know, some of these are very hairy, and you know, maybe a couple years back, it's like a trend with animals. Sometimes you want a pig to be completely shaved, you know, like no hair on them. But you know, these past couple years, it's been more hair on them. You know, I guess more of that natural look.
Yeah. Because that goes back into how you groom them as well. Because the way you groom them, it also makes the muscles pop.
Yeah, exactly. You know,
too much hair on one spot makes it look too lean. A little bit less here makes it look a lot nicer, more round.
Mm-hmm. And you know,
it's a tool you can use.
Yeah. It can help enhance. Yes. You know, especially with pigs and also with lambs. You know, obviously we're not in the lamb show. That's tomorrow. Make sure to stay tuned. But going in, you know, I'm gonna go a little bit into the lambs because I do lambs. I train lambs. So, you know, like how they look is also extremely important. You know, making sure their legs look good and having them a nice clean shave on them. You know, it goes same thing for pigs. You know, you want to have a nice build and look to them. You don't want them to look ugly when you're showing them.
Yeah.
That's why they have these little rags. You know, clean up the poop that they make.
Yeah.
You know, want to make them look nice.
And going back onto color on these animals, does color really matter when it comes to looking at the muscle and the way they're built?
No, not really. I don't really think so. Because if you really look at them, most of them are pretty much the same color, black and white, and sometimes they're white. It shows regardless, because just how the light looks shines on these animals, you know, and also the judge is moving around. So let's say it did have an effect on how the muscle looks. These judges are going to be looking around, seeing the actual, get closer up into these pigs and seeing the muscle. So maybe in a far distance view, you might not see as much. Maybe a white lamb or a white pig or a black pig.
Yeah.
But the closer you get to seeing these pigs, is when you'll really see that muscle. So I don't really think so. But it does. The skin color of these pigs do show what breed they are. I think most of these pigs are Hampshires. I think that's what they're called. Mm-hmm. It's the white and black. And then also, if you have seen in the previous classes, there's some red pigs. Those are Durocs. So sometimes the skin color does tell you what like breed they are, but not when it comes to muscle.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, now he's picking his. Oh wait.
Are we already on top 3?
Oh no, we're not.
No.
This is the last 3 though, because there's a couple people already in their pens.
Yeah.
So, what are we looking at? What are we seeing? We got some Nimitz kids. I think some Davis. So.
So for me, it's been a while. I don't know if you could refresh my memory a little bit. So how many of these animals make it to auction?
Oh man, I think it's 13. 12 or 13 pigs out of. Oh, what's up, Gio? I'm sorry, guys.
No, that's all good, man.
But so 12 or 13 pigs, I think, to be exact. Out of, I think there's 37. 14. Oh, my bad. 14 pigs make auction. Sorry.
That's a lot of pigs, man.
Yeah, and there's like 30 something pigs. I think 36 or yeah, around there.
Yeah.
So they make out of those 37, 14 of those pigs make auction. And you know, obviously you want to make auction. That's like, you know, everybody's like, oh, I want to make auction, but it's also just not about auction. Just how good did you do? You know, are you proud of the effort you put into your animal? But yeah, 14 pigs make auction, and auction is on Friday at 1 o'clock. And that's where the sale of champions happens, where people start bidding on these animals.
Yeah. So what does it mean to go to auction? How does that help the student?
It can help the student financially. You get some money, obviously, from making it to auction, and for seniors, most likely it helps out with tuition. You know, helping with college, because since they're not going to be in high school anymore, they would use that money for something else. But most people who make auction that are underclassmen usually reimburse it into their next year projects, which I did. My sophomore year, I won with my chickens, and I got a couple $1,000s for that. So I reimbursed that money back into my next year chickens and my lambs for my junior year, and I ended up winning with both. So this year, I pretty much spent no money technically, I guess, with like no money from my parents' pockets or stuff like that, because I used that money to help fund this year project. So that's what helps with making an auction. You know, you're able to financially support yourself when it comes to the FFA program, because it is pretty pricey. You know.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, it's dicey. You know.
I mean, pigs can eat what? I want to say 30, 40 pounds a day.
Yeah, and those bags go through quick. They're gone. They're gone in like a week or two. You know, pigs eat. Especially in the beginning of the season, you want to get them as big as possible.
Yeah. So without sponsors, these kids are providing everything out of pocket.
Yep.
No help from the schools, no help from anybody, just them and their own money.
Yep.
And that, like I said, that plays in a lot into how they interact with these animals, how their relationship builds with them.
Yep. Yeah. A lot of people, they buy these animals, and they're really looking forward to trying to make auction because they want to reimburse that money that they spent. So I feel like that also brings a factor into their dedication to these animals.
Yeah.
Putting into your own pocket, your own money, that gives you a different type of motivation.
It does, yeah.
Compared to someone who's sponsored, but there's no bad thing with being sponsored. Getting sponsored is a blessing too. You're getting funded by somebody else who can see the work that you can put in. So that also helps you get motivated. So.
Yep. And speaking of sponsors, how does the sponsorship work for these students?
I think so. What happens is usually it's a lot of alumni that help sponsor these animals. They understand the struggle it is when it comes to funding these animals. So a lot of alumni do help sponsor. So what happens is pretty much these alumni, or it could be any sponsor, people from shops or any of that. They go up to these
businesses too.
Yeah, businesses too. Yeah. So businesses or alumni, they go to the school board or the school district. And they're like, oh, I would like to fund these. I would like to fund any of these people. It doesn't have to be a certain person. They're just saying they want to fund the program.
Another good class here as we end up in this towards the end of the show here, but I chose to use young lady there with the painted up one that just balances up the best for me. That one comes up you wide and square to the ground, which is key here. One that goes away from you wide and square to the ground and balances up really good on a profile. It's got that extra structure, not real heavy bone, as we have one or two maybe heavier bone in the class, but one that puts it together in a real cool look. Now I'll be the first to tell you I'm not a fan of the clip job, and I apologize to anyone in the back of the barn that was responsible, but we don't clip these things anymore. And I think if we'd left the hair on that one and did its head, it really looked the part in terms of a modern day show pig. But the young lady brings one for me. I think she wins this class fairly handily. Great job. Let's give her a round of applause. She wins the class. Again, we follow up with one that's similar in kind, just not as wide base and bold and stout featured here in second. One that you admire, a profile, maybe a rib long sided as compared to the one that beats us in class, but you just don't see that squareness and ruggedness and feature that we saw in the hog that wins the class. You got to admire the height of the point of the shoulder and length and cleanliness in the front end. One that's probably starting to show more maturity, and rightly so. I mean, we're sitting here in the heavyweight class. We're starting to see more limbs that are bolder and stouter. This one's adequate enough for me to stand second in this particular drive. Again, we'd like to leave the hair on that one if at all possible. And you won't hear me use the hair word much, but we do want to keep that hair as much as possible. Young lady brings us one in third that is that kind of more rugged kind of a look one. Just gets a little rounder and steeper out of his hip and hind leg, and consequently doesn't stride or flex out of that hip and hock as he goes away from us. But you still admire one that's got that height of the shoulder and length and face that we've seen in several of these other ones here. Again, some maturity starting to play in this heavyweight class. That's fine. Ear doesn't bother me. That's a result of an infected ear tag. That happens. Don't have a problem with that. But you get on top of this thing, he's got a monster back in him. And I tell you, if we could just square this one out of its hip, make him flex more as he goes away off that hip and hind leg, that one comes very competitive as we move further. So good round of applause. Come on, let me bring forward number 4, please. Fourth place. This is the rugged pig of the day, and I'll just tell you that that's the heaviest structured, biggest bladed hog that we've seen all day. What do we want to do to make this one come on up any higher in that class? One, we want to just clean it up in the front 1/3 of its class. Gets a little bold and open in its shoulder blade, gets a little chunky from there forward in terms of cleanliness and length of neck and cleanliness of jaw right there. But that's a heavy structured round rib, and if you're in the show pig business or commercial business, that's kind of what they need to look like from the base component of stoutness of feature and heaviness, ruggedness of look. Just doesn't have that eye appeal that we see ahead of it in class. Just like to clean up, like we said, the front 1/3 of its body, shoulder blade, length of neck, and face. Let's give them a big round of applause. Oh, I'm sorry. 5th. We kept a 5 one. I'll get my stuff together here in a minute. Young man brings us one that probably would have excelled further in the last class, one that drops into a super heavyweight type of a class. Consequently, we don't see as much pig as what we saw ahead of him in class. Pounds-wise, look-wise, we just don't see as much there. Got a nice shape of top, got a good bit amount of muscle, but again, maybe just a notch longer sided and a notch narrower as compared to the 3 or 4 hogs ahead of him in class, but one I wanted to keep back around, point out the fact that there's a lot of good basic components of this particular hog. Might have been, and I don't know where he broke in weight breaks, it might have just been a bad weight break, but a very good hog and have done a good job of getting him stuck. Let's give him a round of applause and the rest of them as we pick your grand champion.
Alrighty, now we're going to these top 3 pigs of this class, and this is
finishing out class 4 in 10th place is Karen Alcaraz. 9th place, Alyssa Martinez. 8th place, Ashelon Jones. 7th place, Josephat Venegas. 6th place, Esteban Martinez. 5th place, Marcus Ramos. 4th place, Camila Zuniga. 3rd place, Kaylee Hidalgo. 2nd place, Jackson Dodd. And 1st place, Riley Hadu from Nimitz. Coming back for showmanship will be Josephat Venegas and Marcus Ramos.
Our class sponsor for today's Market Swine Show is Cesar Flores. Please give him a round of applause. Mr. Flores, if you're here, please come to the announcer's table.
Nimitz. 2nd place, we have Jackson
We need
Dodd from
all
Nimitz.
first class
3rd place, we
placings
have
to come
Kaylee
to the
Hidalgo
ring.
from Nimitz.
2nd place
And
classes,
4th place,
be in
we
your
have
pens
Camila
and be
Zuniga
ready.
from Aldine. Hey, man, Aldine made it nice.
So right now we need Laura Sanchez from MacArthur, Caitlin Lincoln from Eisenhower, Emma Villafana from MacArthur, and Riley from Nimitz. Come to the ring.
So now what's going on is this is where they're going to start picking their grand champion. So pretty much what's going to happen is it's called the champion drive, and they're the top first class picks of every single class. So the number one for every class, they go into the ring at the exact same time, and the judge picks off of those. So this is also going to dictate auction, which people make auction. So all the first class people are going to come in, and they're all going to compete to try to get grand champion, which is number one overall out of everybody. So once they do that, so let's say one of the classes, number one, get picked for grand champion. Number two for that class is going to come in, and it's going to, number two is going to go up against all the number ones, and he's just going to start picking out of every single class until he reaches all through 14, every 14 of the auction picks. So right now, though, this is going to be the champion drive for that grand champion or the reserve grand champion.
Okay.
So, yep. Them in the pens, getting ready for all those pigs to get out at the same time. So I think they're almost done. I think they just need one more. I think no, it's just 4. There was only 4 classes. So yeah, they're almost ready. Good luck to all these exhibitors, competing for that grand champion and that reserve grand champion, put in all that hard work. Alrighty, they're sending each one of these first-in-class pigs out one by one, and this is where the big money is. This is where you really want to get that grand. This is the nerve-wracking part right here. I feel like this is where it gets harder for the judges to figure out who gets that grand, because all of these are the best in their class, But this is where I feel like it gets way more tricky and where that showmanship really comes into play. But based off of him last year, because he judged the same show last year, he might pick second or third of the weight class, because I feel like that's what he usually likes to see, some in the middleweight, but obviously judges can change their opinion, so. You can really tell the showmanship between these people. They're really particular on how they want their pig to look.
especially controlling them this late into the show already.
Yeah.
By this point, the animal's already tired, and so is Showman.
Exactly. Yep. This is where they really shine here. You know, see where they really put that work. You know. This is where he's going to pick his top.
Let's give these 4 class winners a big round of applause. I'll tell you, the numbers might have been short, but the quality of pigs has not been short, and the quality of your students has been great. So let's give all the kids that participated today a big round of applause. If you guys will just want to rest them. I'm not a big speech giver, so it won't be very long. One thing I would like to take a moment is, again, I made mention in my opening comments about how impressive it is to walk into this type of venue at a school district, a public school district, and see the support that it took to allow you the opportunity to take their beautiful gym and turn it into a livestock show. So with that being said, there's a lot of people behind the scenes, from superintendent all the way down through assistant superintendents and directors and chiefs and you name it, that said, yeah, this is a good idea, let's do it and go on. Let's give them all a big giant round of applause, because not too long from now I hear there's a staff showmanship contest. So we're going to dedicate that time to them to make fun of them, okay? So we want to be serious now, because we're going to roast them later. Y'all just wait, all righty? But again, a tremendous effort to get together to put this on, an ISD function, a high school function. I come from a background that it's 4-H and FFA or junior FFA all the way on up. And I saw the youngsters getting off the bus a while ago and coming through. And my first instinct, along with probably your ag teacher's first instinct, was, oh no, tour guides. Little kids in the alleys, and we're fixing to start a pig show. If you don't know, that's a recipe for a wreck, okay? And they made some adjustments. But if you stop and sit back just a minute and talk about the fact that you only have high school kids participating, and our numbers are down in the pig show for whatever reason since last year, what are some of those factors? And again, where I'm from, we've got 4-H and junior FFA. I credit the size and success of Splendora FFA with the fact that we have junior FFA, because third graders cannot drive, most of them. In our country, there are a few of them that can. But parents bring them, parents get involved, and you guys don't have that opportunity when the first time you see most of your students is in their freshman year. So when we see these youngsters lining up and coming through, there's your history. There's your future, not your history. Those are the ones that are going to come and say, hey, you remember when we went on that tour guide? I want to do that. I want to be one of those kids. I want to wear that blue and gold. Take care of those little ones. That's what makes us grow. That's what keeps them competitive. I've known most of you, or quite a few of your ag teachers for the last 30 years. Some of them have more gray now than they used to. But those guys were the wisdom to keep this thing, get this thing started, get this thing going and keep it going. And then you had all these good new ones here. And you can just listen to them speak around the barn in the last 45 minutes that they lead kids. I watch kids stop, walk in there and shake hands before they ever went to their pig with their ag teacher or their mentor or whoever it was to them. So it's a kid event. We keep doing things like you're doing, and this thing is going to continue to grow. Who knows why the numbers of the pigs drop? Maybe they just got a goat instead. But what I do see around Ring is very high quality kids that are respectful to everyone around them, and it's a credit to the ag teachers and everybody that's built this program. So let's give them a big round of applause as well. That's the longest I get in my speeches. I normally don't even do that, but I want to give credit where credit is due, and I see a lot of things going on great in Aldine ISD, so thank you. You guys crank them back up. We're going to pick you a champion.
Champion time. Who's going to get it?
Oh man, it makes makes me nervous. I feel like I'm back in the ring.
Bro, I know. I'm freaking out too. Like just picturing yourself in this in their shoes right now, you know, like what they're feeling. It's crazy, man.
Yeah. And they have these animals for what, 4 months?
Yeah.
Starting September. So you know you're gonna get to this point at some point in your life, but just the day you're finally here,
when you look at these four, we talked them in class, so I'm not going to hash back down through there, but I think it is a two-horse race. I think the young lady with the painted one in the middle and the young lady on the far end are the two contenders. And again, not to take anything against one, I just see a little more balance of the traits that I like. There's not one just clear cut and grab you, but I think this pair comes out and clear cuts and grab you. For me, I think it's the one that just kind of puts together a lot of those things that we like. I think I'd like to make both of them bigger footed and heavier structured as they view today, but I think they're big enough, and I think they're big enough in their bone, big enough for their footwork, big enough of their feature, big enough in their look. I think everything's enough, and when you talk about enough, that's balance, balance, balance. And I try to put those traits together. I view it from two ways. I'm a pig breeder. I have 25 or so sows. Every time I count them, it looks like it's up 5 and it needs to be down 50. But two questions. Market show, okay, which one do I want to produce? And then if it was a breeding standpoint, you would look at it as which one would I want to take home and make a market barrow female out of, one that's capable of making market barrows to sell, because truthfully that's where the money's at, and that's why we do it, other than making good quality livestock for our grandbabies, because God knows I can't afford to go buy one. So that's what keeps me in the business, and that's why we keep going. It comes down to me again, that balance, the one that balances up the best for me, although she's stuck in the corner over there, young lady right there is going to be your grand champion. I think her pig particularly does two things, both of those things. I see that one as a market product that's very good in its own right, and I also see one that you could take home and breed because of her shortness of back, still long enough, still got that basics that we like. We'd want to breed her to something that would be stouter legged and produce more bone than what she is, but this is a market show. You hang that one, she's going to cut good. She's the right length of body for me, and for those reasons, she's your grand. Need a second place out of...
We need Daniel Perez. Daniel Perez.
They already got their grand champion. Congratulations to Emma. Congratulations to all these exhibitors. So now what they're doing is they're bringing the second person in the girl that just won, and so they're getting the second person in that class to come up. So now it's going to be this guy in second class compared to all these other pigs in first class, and he's just going to go down the line all the way to 14. So the person in second class can still get a shot at reserve grand champion, you know, but now he's going to pick out of these
young man comes
four.
in second place from that class and brings quality to the group. And I'll be honest with you, that one, if we get up and get going, get heads up and go, resembles the champion quite a bit in terms of type and kind and the squareness that it's made. You see the squareness down its back. Like to freshen this one up in order down his top, and just like to give him that extra kind of look. I guess to come back in the second for reserve grand, I'm going to keep the original pair together. I think this one gets very, very competitive, and this is the last time I'm going to mention hair, but that thing, Harry, could be a different beast, but a very good square made, balance up kind of a deal, I think really fits in the reserve grand spot right there. Let's give her a round of applause as she goes back to the barn. Congratulations, young lady.
Now they're going on to the third overall. So now they already picked their two grands. Now they're going to the third. So now there's two people that are second in class and two that are first. Now they're moving on to fourth in class.
We need Jason Martinez.
If their parents here.
We're on 4th or 5th or 4th?
We're on 4th. I forgot what pink ribbon means.
Okay. Yeah, 5th is yellow. Yeah, 5th. I remember.
We need Kaylee Hildago.
Got third and fourth.
Now we're going on to 5th in class, I believe. You know, it's still just as important. You know, the showmanship, the market. You know, like how they look. You know, it's just because you didn't get, you know, if you weren't able to get grand or reserve, you're still able to place for auction. You know, so coming into this ring, you want to still look the exact same you did before. You know, when you were competing for your class.
Yeah. It's not over until you get a ribbon.
Exactly, it's not over. Yep. So there's still a chance for you to make auction. You know. So, and this is where the pigs are like tired, you know, like they were probably in the ring for a good 30 minutes for their first class, or a good 20 minutes for their first class, and then having to come back in, you know. Yeah. So this is, you know, it's nerve-wracking, you know, hectic.
And you mentioned that these pigs were out here for a while already. How do the students cool them down? How do they keep them from overheating? How do they keep them from basically getting out of control? Man,
it's pretty much, it goes down to how they trained them you know, at the barn. You know, like I feel like if you train them more and more, they start to get used to.
They build that stamina.
Yeah, they build that stamina up. And of course, you can do some stuff here in the ring. Maybe like brush them off. Maybe brush them off. Try to cool them off, and wipe them down. That can also help. But yeah, it goes down to how you train them at the barn and how much stamina they built up over time. Because, you know, that's a very, very important factor. I feel like it gets harder the more down it goes too. You know?
Because by then the pig's already fed up. It's tired. It wants to lay down. I remember mine, by the time we finished, we were in there for an hour.
Yeah.
And man, as soon as they gave me that ribbon, she fell right on the ground.
Yeah.
Fell straight to sleep.
Camellia Zuniga to the ring.
Crazy, man. You know, I could never have done a pig, in my opinion. I feel like it's just not my preference, you know, doing pigs, working with pigs. Mm-hmm. But I feel like also just how long you're in the ring and just like the little nitpicks you have to do with these animals, you know. It's a lot.
It is a lot.
It's a lot, you know. People think, you know, some people think that when they come in and buying a pig, since they're on the cheaper end of the cost for animals, they think it might be a little easier, but it's hard, man. It's really hard.
The only reason pigs are cheap is, one, they're easy to breed.
Exactly, yep.
One pig could give birth to, I want to say, at least 30 of them things. It was a lot last time I seen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And second, you're going to spend a lot more money trying to feed it than you will any other animal.
Yeah,
besides a steer, but a steer is a different story.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I feel like every animal has their own issues, you know. Every animal's harder to train for certain things, you know. For example, like lamb and goats, I feel like temperament-wise, for both lamb and goats, they're an important factor too on how those animals are trained. You know, you might have a more stubborn lamb or goat, and so you have to put more effort into like straining them out compared
Caden
to
Johns
a
to the
goat or
show
lamb
arena.
that is more docile. So it goes hand in hand.
It does. And what a lot of people don't know is that pigs are actually really fast.
Yeah,
They're
pigs are
extremely fast.
I remember going to the barn and I got spooked by one because they ran around the corner and I was about to walk right in front of them, and they're
man.
fast.
We had a runaway one time. We spent 2 hours trying to get him back in his cage.
That's crazy.
And oh man, by the end of it, I was tired, man. And it was right before school too.
Oh wow. These pigs are fast.
Yeah.
People might think they're lazy and slow, but
No,
when they get out, they're quick.
But I think it goes back to that. They're big, they're fast, and then just being able to control it with just a small whip like that.
Yep.
That's a lot of work.
It is.
Jonathan Landero to the show ring.
Pigs are actually smart, really smart. They're one of the smartest mammals, one of the smartest mammals.
Yeah.
So I feel like also being able to train them with the whip might be a little bit easier because they're smarter, so they understand a little bit quicker. But it's also, since they're smarter, they're more stubborn.
Yeah.
I feel like.
Like you said, them being smart, it makes it easier for them to remember patterns.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Which makes them one of the more trainable animals compared to, I want to say, goats, lambs. You can't train a chicken.
Yeah, obviously. I've trained chickens or like worked with chickens, and there's nothing going on in their brain.
Nope.
But but it's also easier for them to learn bad habits.
Jolie Broussard to the show ring.
You know, if you don't train them consistently, they start to learn those bad habits, and it's harder to break them since they're smarter and they already know what they know. They don't feel like changing.
It is, and I've learned that the hard way. I learned that it's better to have your pig more isolated towards the back, and then bring it out for playtime every now and then with the other ones. But still, pigs tend to keep to themselves a lot.
Yep. Yeah. Sometimes these animals need a little tough love too, for them to learn. Because it's just, you can't be sweet with them all the time, because then they'll step over you. So you have to have a strong foot, to put down.
Yeah, like I said, these are big animals, so you do not want one of these animals getting sweet with you.
Yeah, exactly. So you need to know a good balance between putting in that, like being dedicated and being disciplined with these animals, and having a little bit of free time with these animals.
Yeah, and like I said, that goes back into training them. You just got to be out there with them every single day.
Exactly.
Like I said, a stubborn.
We need Marcus Ramos to the show ring.
Gonna mess up your showmanship real bad.
Yep, exactly. Yep. And it could be, sometimes it's unlucky days. Sometimes one day they're super, super sweet and they listen to you, and then the other day they might just be acting up.
Yeah.
And that's just the way livestock work. Sometimes they just, no matter how hard you train them, they might have been acting up one day, and that might have costed you something.
Yeah. And if I remember right, you need to raise either any one of these animals before you could actually get a steer the next year, right?
I think so. Yeah. You need to raise these first, because steers that's a whole different thing, and they're
Steers
big.
are bigger.
They're bigger than you, taller than you. They can really trample over you. So if you don't know how to take care of those, like how to discipline those animals, then it can go bad.
I feel like starting off with a pig, that's probably the best option you can start with. They're very similar in the way they walk.
Yeah.
And then weight-wise, you're getting used to a big animal leading them around.
Yeah, exactly. And then you learn how to be,
It gives you patience.
Yeah.
Javion Gibson to the show ring.
Because steers, they're more docile than I want to say than pigs. They're a little easier to control, but you still have that in your back pocket that you were able to train the whole pig the year before.
And it goes into also like making sure you train those steers in the very beginning.
Yeah.
Because if you don't train them in the beginning and you train them only later on in the season, they will not listen to you. Like those ones, like once you don't train them in the beginning, that's it. You know, because
once they figure out they're bigger than you,
yeah,
they're
once
gonna
they
push you around.
yeah, once they figure out they're bigger than you and they can tramp over you, that's game over, man. Because when you train them in the beginning, since they're smaller, you can kind of have a little bit of a better handle on them, and they just remember that.
Yeah.
So they think that you're stronger than them, just based off of how you handled them when they were babies, compared to them older, knowing that you won't be able to do anything.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's very important to train these animals early on.
It is, especially now that we got 10 of them back there.
Yeah, if you
This
see
is the most
behind
I've
us,
ever seen.
there's a lot. There's a lot of steers. You know.
Sandra Tinajero
So-
to the show ring.
They're gonna do the steers at 3 p.m. So make sure y'all
Tune in
tune for that. Yep.
Oh man.
Bless you.
I had to turn the mic off.
Yeah.
I was sneezing to the mic. So you're still in high school, right?
Yep. I'm a senior in high school. I'm graduating this year.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Nice. That was 5 years ago.
Yep. 5 years ago.
Can our swine grand champion winner please make their way to the broadcasting table? Esteban Martinez to the show ring.
Interview.
Actually, you want to interview?
I can interview her if you want. Yeah. Alrighty. Here, did you turn it on? Yeah, click that. All right. So this is Emma. So introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Emma. I won grand champion for MacArthur.
Congratulations, MPND. You know MacArthur. Stay on top. Okay. Okay.
And I'm
But
a senior.
She's a senior. All right. So going into that ring, what did you experience, or how did you feel?
I felt really scared. I was really nervous. Like my stomach was like going everywhere. Like I just.
Do you feel like your animal could feel how nervous you were, or did you try to hide it? Were you good at hiding it?
She did get a little cranky at the end. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. That kind of, I feel like I figure, you know, because you've been in there for so long.
Yeah.
So
she was a little hangry too.
Mhm. What was your reaction when they went up to you and was like, "Oh, you got grand champion"?
Well, I didn't know. I heard grand champion and I looked around. I looked up. I see Smith smiling at me and like clapping, and I was like, okay. I see Burnett, and then I see like the judge coming to me, and I was like, oh my gosh, I won grand champion.
Yeah, that's crazy,
So,
man.
like,
Congratulations again, you know.
Thank you.
And like, how was your regimen training on in the beginning? You know, during you know, at MacArthur Barn. How did you train? What did you start doing in the beginning to get her where she's at?
In the beginning was really tough. Like I would get mad at her because like she would not listen. But then later on, like I would take her out and then like I'll just be gentle with her too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I don't want to show her that I'm a rude owner
Mm-hmm.
or anything towards her. Like, and I'm trying to work with her.
Yeah.
So
Josephat
And
Venegas
then
to
I
the
just-
show ring.
like later on, she just started working with me and everything. She has her moments, obviously, but she just started working with me.
All right, man. That's great. Do you have the buckle with you right now or no?
No.
Oh, it's fine. It's fine. I was like, oh, show the camera. How does it look? How do you think it looks?
I think it looks good. I'm gonna be honest. I don't wear buckles.
Oh, you don't wear buckles?
No.
Well, you gotta start now because you
I
got
have
one. So, what
Yes.
was there gems? Is there like gems on it?
No, no
Oh, so-
gems. It's just
It's just the buckle. It says MacArthur, you know, or not MacArthur. It says
Aldine,
Aldine. Aldine.
yeah.
Yep. That's crazy, man. Congratulations. You
Thank
know,
you.
like, you know, MacArthur. You know, people, Mac alumni watching, shout out to y'all guys. We keeping it
pride never
strong. We
dies.
keeping it strong. But yeah, man, that's awesome. That's awesome. And you're not doing any other.
Our sponsor for
tomorrow,
today's
right?
Market Swine Show was
not
Mr.
tomorrow.
Cesar Flores.
right.
Please give him a round of
This is
applause.
my pig, Fresita, and that's it.
That's it. Yep.
That's it.
So again, what's your name?
Emma Villafana.
Nice to meet you, Emma. Well, I already know her, obviously. I go to the same school as her, but
Yes.
congratulations again.
Yes, thank you.
So, yeah, you just power that. Alrighty, now they're finishing up with the classes, or not the classes, the picks for auction. I don't know what number they're on. Maybe 6 or 7, or maybe the 13th class or 13th number. Maybe, I don't know. Who knows? But yeah, congratulations to all these exhibitors putting in that hard work. And yeah, pig show is almost, it's almost done. Alrighty, so this is another exhibitor, right, Pig?
Yes, sir.
All right, tell us your name. What's your name? What school you go to?
Stan Martinez. I go to Aldine, 10th grade, second year.
Second year. Alrighty.
Second year.
How do you feel about about the show? Was this your first time doing pigs?
Second year.
Second year.
Second
Okay.
year.
How did you feel going into the ring?
I felt good. Felt good.
Confident?
Confident. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Do you feel like your pig could see that confidence through you whenever you were in that ring and seeing how
Yeah.
she acted?
Yeah, you just gotta work your pig. That's
Mhm.
all it is. Working your pig. Time.
What was your training regimen when you first started? What did you do?
First started. The first thing you should do, on my end, is just stay in the pen, let him get comfortable, and then 2 weeks later you start walking him.
All right.
You can start walking him, and then that's it.
Do you know what place you got?
I got 14th place.
14th.
14th, last place.
Hey,
Yes,
that's
sir.
still good, man. You made auction.
Yes, sir.
Congratulations.
Finishing out our champion drive, we have our grand
that's what you
champion,
want.
Emma
That's the important
Villafana
part.
from MacArthur.
Exactly.
Everybody came for.
Our reserve grand champion is Riley Hadou
pause right
from
now.
Nimitz. Third place, Daniel Perez from Davis. Fourth place, Jackson Dodd, Nimitz. Fifth place, Laura Sanchez from MacArthur. Sixth place, Kaylee Hidalgo from Nimitz. Seventh place, Caitlin Lincoln from Eisenhower. Eighth place, Jason Martinez from Eisenhower. Ninth place, Caden Johns, Eisenhower. 10th place, Camila Zuniga from Aldine. 11th place, Jolie Broussard from Eisenhower. 12th place, Leilani Mendez, MacArthur. 13th place, Marcus Ramos from Davis. And 14th place, Esteban Martinez from Aldine.
So I'll see you at auction Friday,
Yes,
all
sir.
right?
Yes,
all right,
sir.
man. Say your
Friday.
name again.
Estel Martinez.
Nice to meet you, man. Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you, boss.
If you were invited back for showmanship, please make your way to the arena. We have Jeffrey Mooney, Aaliyah Rivera, Jolie Broussard, Caitlin Lincoln, Catherine Benitez, Franklin Cedillos, Jason Martinez, Daniel Davis, Emma, Joseph.
Wait. Emma can't come back. Emma can't come back. Make sure she don't come back.
Emma.
Actually, you know what?
Let's go out and talk.
I think it was the sponsor.
Calling all showmanship kids. Jeffrey Mooney, Aaliyah Rivera, Jolie Broussard, Caitlin Lincoln, Catherine Benitez, Franklin Cedillos, Jason Martinez, Daniel Perez, Josephat Venegas, and Marcus Ramos.
Alrighty, so now what we're doing, what you're going to be seeing is showmanship for pigs. So pretty much what it is there. He's not looking at the muscle at all, no muscle density. He's not looking at how the pig, how the build looks. What he's looking at is how good are you and your pig.
Today's sponsor for our swine showmanship is Jenny and Brandon Hawkins. Please give them a round of applause.
So what he's looking at is how good
If
are
we
you
have
and
Jenny
your pig.
and Brandon Hawkins here, please come to the announce table at this time.
How you and your pig are looking together. So he's going to look at are you making good eye contact? Is the chin of that pig up? Is the head up? Is he walking good? How pretty does that animal look? He's not looking at the build. So this is where, if let's say you don't make auction or you don't make grand champion, you could still get a buckle here and you could still get a jacket here. So this is just as important as, market. But obviously they're not looking at the build and meat quality of this animal. They're looking more on how well are you able to show this animal and make it look good. So, all these people that got brought in, they're all really good at showing, as you can see. Now it's just what he's down to, what he likes looking at. How good are these pigs? How pretty do they look? Do they have good posture? Can these exhibitors control these animals? So that's the important part of this. So here for showmanship, it's really how much time you spent with this animal, Because usually people with good showmanship, it's pretty much because they spent a lot of time with these animals, putting their hard-earned, hours into these animals. So people still have a shot, to get a buckle and to get a jacket. But these, showmanship is more about how much hours you put in this animal and how good are you and your animal good together, Are y'all both working together to look good? It's not just the pig, it's also you, how you look. So these pigs, obviously, chin up, walking good, posture, but it's also you too. You want to have direct eye contact with the judge. You don't want to be looking lazy. You want to be active. You want to be showing the judge that you care about this. You don't want to be standing there like a sloth, just kind of moving your pig around.
I'm back.
But yeah. Hello, welcome back, man.
Not bad. I had some stuff I had to take care of.
No, you're good. You're good.
This is the first time I've ever seen a brown pig.
Oh, really? The Durocs?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It's the first time I've ever seen one here.
Yeah. I think, actually, now that you say that, I think last year there was no Durocs.
No, neither was the year before or the one before that.
Yeah. A lot of people don't pick Durocs. There's some reasons why, but every pig, every pig can grow muscle different ways,
Yeah.
I've heard Durocs grow quicker, and they gain more muscle quicker. Or not muscle, but they gain more weight.
But
So
I also heard they're a little harder to lead. I don't know if it's true or not, but
yeah.
Might just be a superstition.
Yeah, obviously there's some superstitions for these pigs. Some say like, oh, these breeds are better than these breeds. And it could be the case. That could be the case.
Yeah, it's a gamble. Everybody chooses what they want to choose.
Exactly, yeah. And sometimes, just let's say there's a hard breed of pigs that don't listen, just because they don't listen, you can still train them to be really well, it's all really goes down to the exhibitor and how much time and effort they put into these animals.
Yeah. And I know a few of us chose it just because we were too small to pick up the bigger ones.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a few of them got stuck with smaller ones, but those small ones ended up growing big. So it's like I said, it's a gamble.
Exactly.
This one group of showmanship is unique to me, typically in the judging setting, but it's just it's the what nature of your show because it's a high school program. I did 2 parish shows, which are the equivalent to our counties here in Texas, but I did 2 parish shows in Louisiana the weekend before last. And one day, Louisiana is notorious about doing showmanship by age of the student. So the bigger the show, obviously the bigger the bigger numbers in those groups, those heats. But they'll show the 9-year-olds, and the 10-year-olds, and the 11-year-olds. And it makes for a pretty long day, but it's good because they all get to participate. From the very first green one to the most experienced, they have the opportunity to get in the ring. And what we say about showmanship when we're dragging kids up and down the road is every chance you get through a gate, 2 things happen. The kid gets better and the animal gets better. So the more opportunities you give yourself to show, the better your kid, student, child, whatever, gets better at the skill set, and the animals relax and get better with the skill set in the group with their partner in that student. So any chance you get to go to a show, jackpots, God knows this winter we have 4 every weekend, somewhere within 20-minute drive. You've got lots of opportunities to get out, get them loaded on a trailer, and go get experience. It's not all about a purple banner or a blue ribbon, or it could be the last ribbon or no ribbon, but the child gets better and the animal gets better every time they jump off a gate. Jump off a trailer, excuse me. So at our house, showmanship's real big. Both my daughters started somewhere in the 3-year-old range. My one granddaughter started at 2.5. She was 5 2 weeks ago. Another granddaughter started, had no experience whatsoever, late to the scene, come out as a natural at 5 years old. And then the 1-year-old thinks we're all dumb for hauling little kids to pig shows, but she hasn't verbalized that yet. But I know I can see it in her eyes. She's thinking it. But it's a great experience. It's one that you should take very, very serious because sometimes when you get into the placing of your animal, showmanship counts, and showmanship makes a difference. When you have to give the right view at the right time for the judge, and then you have to maybe hide something that's wrong with your animal or you'd like to fix or whatever, that's showmanship. Most judges are going to see through a lot of that, but they admire the fact that you're smart enough, 1, to know, and 2, to try to slip it past him without him knowing. So it's a good thing. I'm going to excuse these guys and girls in the ring right here. I've kept the top end of this particular class. Let's give them a good round of applause. What I would work towards is more intentionality of where you put your animal in relation to the judge. I would relax. I'd work on some eye contact sometimes. And then if you would, get your animals put back in their pens and come back and watch the final drive right here to see what you can pick up either in what you see or what you hear. So again, good round of applause to these guys. Remember, they're all your kids. Raise the roof. Lots of clapping. There you go. That's why we came. So, we didn't come because we got off work today. We come to support these guys. All right.
His top 5, it seems. His top 5 best showers. And out of those 5, he's going to pick the grand champion showmanship and the reserve grand champion showmanship.
So what's the judge doing?
Honestly, I have no clue. I think maybe he moves that way so the pig exhibitors can go that way, so they can show off their pig. I think.
So
But-
really playing into that showmanship.
Yeah,
huh?
yeah. Seeing if they can follow him, because obviously you want that pig to be in view with the judge. So I believe that he's moving like that so those exhibitors can go closer to him and then they can show him off. And how good are they at bringing that animal closer to them? And I also think maybe he went over there to think of which ones he liked. So who knows?
I don't know. You can go either way.
Yeah, either way.
Easy. This is the first time I see a judge pull this off. I thought he was just staring off with the camera.
Yeah, no, for real. Yeah, I was like, what is he doing? That's what I think. Maybe.
Hey, I mean,
just-
it's a good move. It's
Yeah,
a
it
good way
is.
to
If
get him in
if it's
there.
for the showmanship,
Yeah.
then yeah, that's good, man.
it's a really good way to get them in there.
Yep.
There he goes moving again.
It's moving around.
Oh.
I feel like he's really trying to figure out who he wants to pick for grand. you
Both
know?
of these pigs look amazing.
Yeah,
they're
bo-
both moving fine.
No
They're
one.
actually moving great.
Yeah, there's like no issues with them. None of them are screaming, yelling on the wall. None of them are doing that. They're all.
It's on the wire, man. He's
Yeah.
really getting in it.
Yeah, man. Showmanship is tough.
It
Trying to
is.
figure it out. Who deserves that grand? I think he found his choice.
No.
Oh
Just
no! I
reposition.
guess I thought he was gonna get the mic, but he did not. Okay. Dang, tough choice, man. That judge is really thinking. Oh, figured it out.
Let's give these individuals a big round of applause. Now, to all my pig showmen back there, why are those three guys in the pen? Yell it out. Somebody's mother or grandmother said, they didn't close the gate. Well, she's right, too. You got to close your gate. It killed all three of you right there for me. All right, especially when you get in, y'all are all good showmen, high quality showmen. It comes down to little things. You guys shot yourself in the foot first right out of the box, okay? And just for learning reference, how do we do this correctly? And you have to be in one. You come out of that gate, spin your pig's nose back around to the fence right there close, but where his body's out of the way, and you shut that gate and latch it. And then your pig's right there, not halfway across the arena. Because our natural thought is, come out the gate, let the pig go, shut the gate, latch it. Then you got to go find your pig. So to be 100% on your game, spinning back around to the fence, shut and latch the gate. All right? It's not a lot of people do that. But back in the day, that was splitting hairs, and it's still splitting hairs these days. But anyway, great job. Let's give these three young men of applause. Just a learning moment. Just take it as that. It's a learning moment. Keep your seat. We're going to talk about the two young ladies that are going to be your champion and reserve. These two young ladies are on their game. One's a little more intentional than the other. And we talked about coming out the gate. Both of these young ladies got pinned right out of the gate, which is rule number one, guys. That was probably rule number 2 or 3. But anyway, rule number 1 for me is when we're bringing a class in, whether it be Showmanship or whether it be at Houston or San Antonio or right here in M.O. Campbell, you give that judge 3 views real fast in 35 seconds. You give a front view, drive straight through him, turning kind of to the side, give him a side profile, and then give him a rear view as it goes away. And then the key to that and how these young ladies got pinned was they came over here and got out of the way. They extended that courtesy of giving the judge a good look by coming down here and getting out of the way so they could give the next person a good look. So that's ring courtesy, ring ethics, whatever you want to call it. That's normally how I sort off my top end first pet peeve. Doesn't mean if you don't do that that you can't win, because it's all about balance, even in showmanship. But that's what got them pinned. They did a great job. When we come over to this corner and I stand and look off with all the fine folks in the corner here, the object there is the fact that the judge can only see from right here to right here. All right? So if we're trying to get a pin, we're trying to win, and he's placing top down, we don't need to be back here, because he can't see you. Now, if it's flipped in the ring and the judge is placing bottom up, you probably want to be back here somewhere, but don't get caught doing it, all right? We call it hide, but don't get caught hiding, all right? But that's the test for it. So the answer for that test is to come in from one direction, go over here to my peripheral vision and spin it around and come back. Some people say, no, you just spin around them. No, not for me. And that's the way I am. More trips you make back and forth, more green checks on your side. Come down over here and got down on a knee. If a judge gets down on the knee, normally he's either fat, old, and lazy like me, or he wants to see a chest view. So your first impression or your first move should be to hook it 3/4 of the way back down this arena and spin around and drive straight at him. He wants to see the chest for it. He wants to see how wide they are underneath coming and how square that those limbs hit the ground from the shoulder blade. They don't want them hitting the ground out here, and we don't want them in here. We want them coming straight out of that shoulder, all 4 feet, all pointing the same direction, all taking a long, flexible step. And that's one way of seeing that. Both young ladies caught on to that and reacted well. When it comes down to it, what separates the two young ladies is more reps in the corner. The use of what I call the triangle was kind of here. You dive in, you go away at an angle and give a rear view, then you give a profile, then you dive in, then you go away, then you give a profile, then you dive in. That's what I told my girls, that's the triangle. And I guarantee you they beat more people in showmanship using a triangle, because the judge is always getting the good views, if they're good. Sometimes we have to take our triangle and just make a right turn, because it's not a good view coming back or going away or whatever. But anyway, intentionality, fluidness, eye contact, Mobby just needs to back off just a little bit, but the one that just, even from class to this point, in this particular showmanship drive, the young lady that just was there more often, more natural, got it done, back off a little bit on the eye contact, but you're going to be my champion. This young lady, again, really super job. Maybe not as intentional in some of those moves, but still it's in your skill set. I see it, I watch it. It's just maybe not as quick, not as intentional as what the young lady that wins, but a super good showman, even in class. Let's give her a big round of applause. Let's give all of them. Young men, great job. There's a lot of good showmen. You guys deserve to be in the top 5, obviously. Keep it up. Watch your gates. Good luck next year.
It is the end of the pig show.
Yeah, that was intense, man.
Yeah, man. What he was talking about, man, I didn't even know.
Congratulations to our showmanship winners, both from Eisenhower. We have our grand champion, Caitlin Lincoln, and reserve grand champion, Jolie Broussard.
Yeah, like I was saying, I did not know that we could do that.
Concessions are now open for lunch, and then we will have our staff showmanship show at 1 p.m.
Wow, man. It's awesome. Congratulations to all the pig exhibitors. Yeah, we saw the hard work. You know, congratulations to the people who won, people who made auction, and obviously to the people who didn't, you know the hard work.
Again, we want to thank our
Congratulations
sponsors for our
everybody.
swine showmanship. Jenny and Brandon Hawkins. Again, we want to thank our sponsors for swine showmanship, Jenny and Brandon Hawkins.
Can I get Eric Bloom to the judges table?
Yeah.
So pig show starting right now in a couple minutes.
Mr.
A couple
Bloom,
minutes. Starts at 10.
I need you at the
We are starting
judges
with the
table.
lightweight class.
Yes, we'll be starting with the lightweight class. Our first person up will be Maria Ruiz from Aldine High School with the weight. Gotcha. So, how's the process? Do they all start off with baby pigs and?
They look like put on there that I was an FFA student, part of a chapter, and it shows a good amount of leadership. Is what they said.
And hard working, because this is not easy.
Yeah,
this is not easy raising animals.
It's not. And most of the big schools in Texas are agriculture based, such as A&M and Sam Houston.
Oh yeah. I visited A&M over the summer, and they were big.
Pork chop.
Pork chop.
I gotta have a word with whoever chose those jokes, because they didn't give me a heads up that they were gonna put jokes like that in here. I would have came up with my own.
Yeah, but so far so good. So far the show is going good. I see he's picked out the animals, the pigs that he want. We still have some out there just trying to still guide their pigs and show their pigs. Still ever wear your FFA jacket? The nice.
No, I outgrew it.
Outgrew it.
So when I first got it, that thing it barely fit me on there. I'm very tall, so I had to get it fitted, and even after getting it fitted, I grew like 2 more inches. So.
Gotcha.
All right, and it looks like we're down to our final 2 pigs in the pen. And here in a second, you will hear from the judge with his decision.
Gotcha.
So what they're doing right there in those pens is that he sections off the ones that he really likes, and then he has them come back out to compete separately, so he doesn't have too many options all at once. He can focus more on one student than the other.
Gotcha. So we're down to our last 4 that he's trying to choose. Like you just said, he's just trying to section off. I see he's walking up to certain ones. He's trying to see, which pig he wants to choose.
Sorry, it's a little hard to see with the camera in the way, but we're making it work. Yeah, I'm liking the MacArthur one. You see that nice little bill on its back? Yeah. And I think he's giving it... Oh, hold on.
Yes. I also like this one's build. Even though it seems a little stubborn, I believe who's that? They're from Eisenhower. This dude's from Eisenhower. I like all 3 of those builds. Like you said, MacArthur's. You can just see how his stance and how he's solid.
He is.
So that's a solid pig. Yeah. Bro, do you see that their team, their FFA members are cheering them on, trying to, help them get that sale?
Yeah, they're doing a very good job of keeping those pigs in front of the judge.
Yeah.
And like I keep saying, that's a very big part of the showmanship part. How well the exhibitor keeps it in front of the judge. You want to be in front of him at all times, give him something to look at.
Yeah.
So it looks like he chose our third.
Those 2, I see they chose them, yeah. Wow, that's really exciting.
Before we get going here this morning, I want to give thanks to the crew to bring me back. I have to tell you.
So it looks as if they chose Eisenhower and MacArthur's.
Eisenhower in first, MacArthur in second.
All right. Well, as we saw in the lightweight pig showmanship, we explained what the judge expected, and it showed out through the kids' work. In first place, we had Jordan Williams from Eisenhower High School. In second place, we have Ashlyn Jones from MacArthur High School. And in third place, we have Reagan Anderson from Nimitz High School. So the winner was obviously, The winner was
Grand champion.
the grand champion was 222 pounds. That's a nice size pig right there. Yeah,
it is. For its
In middleweight
weight
class, we
yes.
have Lisa Rueda from Eisenhower, Catherine Benitez from Aldine, Emery Singletary from Nimitz, Adriana Lopez
Well,
from
now we're entering
MacArthur,
into the
Hayden Johns
middleweight.
from Eisenhower, Robert Allen
the
from
middleweight pig
Eisenhower,
competition. So,
Rashawn Oliphant
like,
from Eisenhower,
the announcers
Javion
announcing, we
Gibson
have
from Eisenhower,
Lisa
Caitlin
Rueda
Lincoln from Eisenhower, Denise
Catherine
Peña
Benitez
from
from
MacArthur,
Aldine,
and Madison
Emery
Harvey from
Singletary
Nimitz,
from
and Kaylee
Nimitz High School.
Hidalgo
Yeah.
from Nimitz.
And then we have Adriana Lopez, Caden Jones, Robert Allen, Rashawn Oliphant, Javion Gibson, Caitlin Lincoln, Denise Peña,
Madison Harvey,
and Kaylee Hidalgo.
Got you.
Now
So-
going back to the light class, we also forgot to mention that there is 3 coming back for showmanship. Those 3 being Jeffrey Mooney from Nimitz. He came in 6th place overall. From Kaylee Joseph from Ike, 8th place in her class, and then Mireya Hernandez, which she came in 5th place,
Yep.
and they're all coming back for showmanship. All right, so
And
now
all
back to the
these,
middleweight.
all these. all right.
You know what? I'm gonna start looking the jokes up because we
Okay,
only had 2 jokes on here,
Yeah.
and they're a little.
Yeah, you know. So this one is, why did the pig get invited to the talent show?
You know, I don't even have an answer for that one. What is it?
Because he was a real ham. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Anyways, back to the show. So you could also see in the crowd a lot of old, past and present students.
Gotcha.
Just cheering their team on here, man. That's what I love to see. I love to see students come back and help out the community. Like I said, I've been doing this for 4 years now, and not 1 year I haven't been here that I haven't loved it again.
Yeah. This is actually my first time doing this at the Livestock Show. I've actually came and seen it, but it's a great opportunity. So
yeah, this is my first time doing this too. They caught me in the cafeteria eating a pancake, and they told me, "Hey, you want to do this?" I was like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
I don't have a choice, do I?
Nope.
Yeah, you see these pigs trying to get back together. It's because pigs love being in herds. They're very social animals. They love being around each other.
Yeah.
But the point of this show is to try to get them apart, to show that
Keep-
you could actually separate this pig from another one.
Especially this one right here. I'm trying to see the back of the jacket to see what school they're from. Nimitz. She actually was really in control of that pig, and that pig stayed separated until it just came together with the other Nimitz pig. So, yeah.
Judge giving here some pointers to this exhibitor.
But it's too late now. I'm graduating.
No, it's.
But I probably should have raised an animal too. This seems like a really cool experience.
It may be too late for you to show an animal, but it's never too late for you to sponsor an animal.
Yeah.
And sponsoring just makes it feel all the more better because you're coming back and you're helping somebody do what you couldn't do back then. You're giving them pointers that you wish somebody would have given you back then too.
Depth of quality in this particular class is 5, 6, maybe even 7 deep. We've talked to some of those kids that went on back to the class and to the barn, and we talked about the likes and dislikes. But very good class, top to bottom, and in terms of depth of quality, much deeper. A lot of similarities in these 2 particular hogs, and I'll just be honest with you, it comes down to the one that's got a little more flesh, one that's maybe a tick rounder in her forerib, one that's carrying a bit more cover and fat and freshness and fleshiness as we look at the total package. I'm a balanced guy. I'm going to be balanced up all day. We're going to start at the ground, make them wide base, coming and going. We're going to make them as heavy structured as we possibly can, but yet that's not always going to be a determining factor, as we'll see further in this particular class. But I think the one that balances the best for me, the one that's flexible off both ends, got that good look up their head and front end, a tick taller at the point of the shoulder is what we see in our second place pig, but more importantly, the one that's got more freshness of body, freshness of feel. You get on top of both of these hogs, they excel the third place animal because of that extra meat animal shape that you see down their back. I'm not saying that we've got to be big backed and hard made, but we do have to have that evidence of shape and muscle and a fresh, eye appealing package that's well driven, one that's very flexible on both ends. Nice job, young lady. Another, when we talk this particular hog, you can see that she's probably a rib longer body than the pig that beats her in class, but most importantly for me, I want to pick her up at the point of the shoulder just a little bit. But again, we talked about that freshness, that fat cover, the condition, whatever you want to call it. I'd like to see more of that in this particular hog, and maybe that would give her just, he's one that I think is a very, very good animal. Young man, again, does a great job, just as most all of them have today. I just got to put more power in his back, more power from behind to make him go ahead of those two ahead of him in class, but a nice one to be third in class. Coming out in fourth is a similar kind of a hog here, just doesn't have enough shape. One that probably dealt this young lady way more fits than she wanted in class in terms of presentation process, but one again, if you look at the way this one's made, the way that one's designed from the side, almost a mirror image of the hog that beats her in class, but again, not as much back shape, not as much power from behind, but a very, very good profile. Again, we'd like to clean him up through that jaw, maybe clean him up in that neck just a little bit, but a nice pig to land there in 4. Coming here in 5 is another meat animal kind of a hog that wants to run downhill a little bit, wants to maybe just not have that extra look and eye appeal as the hogs ahead of him in class, one that you have to admire from the standpoint of total product and body freshness. Just needs to jack him up at the point of the shoulder, extend him out through that front end and make it go as compared to the 4 ahead of him in class. But a very, very nice set, a very great set of individuals getting them drove out here. My appreciation to everyone in this particular class. Like I said, it's definitely the deepest class that we've seen thus far. It's interesting to see where we go from here.
Alrighty, so we're back in action, doing what we're doing. We're starting off with the staff showmanship. We have a few great staff members in the house. Dwayne Mustin, the Executive Director of Security and Audiovisual Services.
And we also got Bryant Savant in there, Executive Director of Student Services. Chad
Goheran, Digital Learning Specialist and one of the amazing tech guys who helped us put this live stream,
You're
I'm the Executive Director of Security and Audiovisual.
For all you do.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Oliphant, for doing a fine job. And again, thank you to all the staff and administration that have participated in this event. And as you all know, I don't have to tell you, it takes all of them to help put on this show as well. We've got safety and security, transportation, student services, all CTE representatives.
Well, I guess you can kind of see how the other pig was trying to help the pig up, but turn it on his back.
Get the job training our pigs at home.
There's that. We're really going to have to need help getting the pig
all 4
up.
feet up in the air. That's training right there. Good job.
Working them out and everything, skin care.
Let's give these exhibitors a big round of applause. Really nice set of calves here to start out with today. I think as we get out here in this class, the orange steer down here on this end kind of comes to the top in my mind pretty easily. He is the most adequately finished. He's got that hard shape of muscle up over his top. He's easily the thickest and the stoutest right behind his blades and carries that all the way back through his loin and down into his round. Like the way that one balances up on a side profile. He's really tucked up in his chest plate. Really good on the move, really free and easy. Just a really good combination steer to start with. The one that follows him most in type and kind is the gray steer here in the middle. One that, once again, really got a good top in him. I like the shape and dimension, really correctly finished. I like the way that he feels when I get back on those ribs. As we get out here and analyze him, maybe just a frame bigger than the other 2 calves, but I think when you put it all together in the package, he's the most neater show steer look. It's got that headedness up through that front end and combines that with some balance and some style and some eye appeal. Maybe not quite as stout muscled as the one that wins the class, but I think one that kind of puts all the combination together, gets out just a little freer and easy off for his back end, maybe than the steer that we have in third. The steer that we have in third, it's a shame that he has to be third today because this is really a good steer as well. Big hip, really nice top. Maybe a little softer to the touch when I put my hands on him. Doesn't show quite the natural muscling as the top two, up over the top portion of his rib and up through his shoulder. But as we get back behind him, he's really powerfully constructed from behind. A really good complete steer. Maybe gives up a little bit of look in that chest floor and up through that front end, but I think he's a very complete steer as well. 3 really good ones in this class. Let's give them all 3 a big round of applause.
I think he's gonna go with that Charlotte right there.
As we get into this class, I think it gets a little closer, especially from top to bottom, and as far as the way you want to sort through them. I'll kind of explain to you what I see, the differences and similarities in these cattle. We're going to start with the silver steer down here on this end. I think he's the package deal. He's the one that puts the most pieces and parts together and checks a lot more boxes for me. Not the most rocket-fronted one as what we might want to see, but I think one that just from his shoulder back, he really blends together very nicely for me. I like the amount of power that he carries up over his top and down through that loin. You put your hands on him, he's got the most proper amount of finish to him at this stage of the game and for his weight, and gets out and moves around free and easy. Really like the way that one balances up through the center portion of his body. The black steer that comes next, if we could just get him just a little bit more of them. If you get out here and analyze him, he's not quite as out there on his front end. He's a little bit deeper in his chest floor. And that kind of throws his balance off just a little bit. But then from there back, boy, you really like him. Love the shape and dimension of muscle that he gives me from the side profile. Maybe not quite as stout over his top line as the steer that beats him in class today, but those are 2 high quality, very well fed, good finished steers to start off the class with. Young man's black steer that comes next. Between these 2 here, I think it comes down to which one's the most show steer look and which one has the trimness to him, and that's why I chose the black steer. The black steer might not appear to have as much finish on him, but when you put your hands on him, he's got it covered. He's about 3/4 of the way back on his rib, and it's a nice firm finish all the way to the front. I think cutability probably gets him into that 3rd slot today over maybe the white steer on the bottom, but I think as you analyze that one's got the show steer look. He's that rocket front, really good long-sided steer. Just needs to have a little bit more power up over his top and down into his lower quarter. He gets a little flatter made. Young lady steer to wind up the class once again. Terrible that we have to have one that does wind up the class, but this calf to me, just he's a little off balance for me. He's a little heavier through his front end and up through his neck and head area. And when you put your hands on him, he's just carrying maybe just a tick too much finish on him for me. When that'll hurt him in his cutability, because when we pull some of that fat off, that's where some of his thickness is coming from too. So when you take that off, how much real muscle and raw muscle is actually underneath that carcass. But 4 really good steers out here in this class. Let's give them a big round of applause.
Yeah. I mean, pretty much all these steers are even.
Let's give all these exhibitors a big round of applause one more time.
From the feet, from how the hind legs are standing.
As we get out here, we've got our seconds over here and our first over here, so we'll talk about these and get our grand first, and then we'll go into consideration for reserve. But we talked about the yellow steer, or the kind of orangey steer that won the lightweight class. A really attractive, really good made one that you really appreciate the look and the show steer value that he gives you from that standpoint. Really tucked up in his chest floor, really stout over his shoulder and back in through his loin. He gets a little bit dry back there, but he's weighing 11, 35, 40, somewhere in that area. Love the shape and dimension of muscle that he has. Could he have a little more finish on him? Absolutely, but is he adequately finished for 1,140 pounds? I think so. So just a really attractive, really nicely made one that you have to appreciate for his show steer look and his overall practicality and ability to be in there and fit into that class. The young lady's gray steer on this side, just a very nicely made one from his shoulder back. We could make him a little more rocket fronted, but he's tucked up in his chest floor like he should be. One that's weighing, I believe, 1260 something, if I remember right. just once you put your hands on him, he's the most adequately finished steer, one that has the most power and shape and dimension up over his top and down through his quarter, and still maintains that in a good show steer look. I think as we get out here and analyze them, we put it all together, that's the one I like. He's going to be your champion. Let's give her a big round of applause. As we bring back our second place in that class, black steer that was very well finished. As we get out here and analyze him in comparison for the reserve champion, like the way that one's made through the center portion of his body from shoulder to flank. When you get back behind him, he wants to kind of dip in from his hooks to his pins just a little bit, like the shape that he has back there. A little bit more chest floor maybe than be ideal, but I think that's still an awful nice steer that's very well made. But I think the one that kind of follows in type and kind to my champion, and I think he's plenty fat enough for me today, that's going to cut and grade, is going to be this yellow one here in the middle. He'll be your reserve. Let's give everybody a round of applause.
And also fat, but not, we have in livestock we have good fat and then you have bad fat. Some of that fat
in the right spots.
Closing out our champion drive, we have 5th place, Anthony Gomez from MacArthur
Overall,
FFA.
that was a good show. That was
4th
a
place,
pretty nice
Ethan
show.
Harris, Eisenhower FFA. 3rd place, Miguel Torres, Aldine FFA. Reserve Grand Champion, Caitlin Lincoln, Eisenhower FFA. And Grand Champion, Donae Banks from Eisenhower FFA.
Now we're about to do the showmanship, right?
Correct. He's going to bring him back in for the showmanship, and if you were, of course, watching.
All steers aside from Grand Champion and Reserve Champion, make your way back to the arena for showmanship.
Like I say, if he was watching the pig shows, he's going to bring him back in for showmanship. A little bit different because he's looking more so at the student and definitely on how they can handle their project.
Our sponsor for today's markets,
And this
beef
is where it
cattle
really goes to
showmanship
show who's really been
is
working with their
Caldwell
animals.
Companies.
Who has that bond
Please
with
give
their
them a
animals.
round of applause.
Who can really get out there and show it the best way possible.
That first one was a market show, looking at those steers, see how they finished out. But this one is more so a combination of the student along with the animal, how they can get them shown. You might ask them a question.
Yeah, and also turkey is also a good source of protein to eat, so that's a good thing. It has good nutrition in it as well.
Awesome.
I guess we'll let them finish talking here before.
Really what we like to see in a turkey is we want to see a lot of breast meat, right? The market of the turkey industry is breast meat. That's the highest value cut, your deli meats, all that good stuff. And so when I sort these to the top for me today, what really sticks out is how much breast meat was able to be packed onto those keel bones. They're big and wide at the bottom. They carry all the way to the top, and really the top two today made me earn my paycheck today because they're very high quality and very good and very minimal differences, and really had to spend some time to make sure I got them right. And so hats off to those two young guys right there on the end, because they made me work pretty hard today to get them placed correctly. So without anything further to say, I'm going to go out and hand out some awards, and as I do, please make some noise for these kids, and I look forward to the Brewer Show. Thank you.
All right. Now he's getting ready to place.
Fortunately, we have that camera so y'all can look at home.
Right.
And you can just tell the difference and stuff and the size of these animals. And, y'all can basically do your own judging at home Of course, here it's a little bit more different. He has to actually feel the muscle. But, I mean, I believe the most expensive cut of chicken is the breast. So he's looking for that most of all. Aside from us, eating, chicken thighs, chicken wings, chicken breast, the chicken breast is the most heaviest part of the chicken.
Yes,
I
really like.
Nice way to wrap up the day for me is to finish it out with a high quality broiler show, and that's exactly what we got here today. Really impressed with the quality and the depth of quality in this show, and so hats off to the kids in the ring and the parents at home and the ag teachers. Really nice set of birds to finish off my day here, and so please give all the kids in here a big round of applause. They certainly deserve it. Make some noise for them. Broilers are a lot of work. They are 6 weeks, and I like to tell my students, sometimes large animal kids that raise a lamb or a goat or a pig or something else, they say, oh yeah, you only have 6 weeks of work. Well, I'm here to tell you, my chicken kids do the same amount of work in 6 weeks that large animal kids do in 3 or 4 months, and I firmly believe that. I ask those kids to say, hey, are you checking on your goat at 2 o'clock in the morning? Because my chicken kids are checking on their chickens at 2 a.m. and they're feeding their birds at 2 a.m. And that's what it takes to win and be successful. This is going to be my top end today. No secrets here for me today. I'm not playing any tricks. Really, this top end really rose to the top for me because they just yield a lot of breast meat, right? My job today is to evaluate these birds, and if we were to process them and pull the breast meat off and put them on a scale, which pen of 3 birds is going to yield the most weight of breast meat? And that's the job for me today. And I think I got a pretty nice top end right here, and really just slight differences between them. The pen that's going to win today just yields slightly more meat. They've got, it came down to the 3rd bird for me. They have really all nice bases. They don't taper a whole lot. The pin that's in 2nd just doesn't quite have the 3rd bird to match their pin, and that's where it got separated for me today. And so, young man right here on the end, congratulations. You're going to be my grand champion today.
All right, there he goes. He picked
a champion today.
Yeah, there he goes.
There he is.
There's our champion.
All right.
And then I believe along the line, did it like the last one. It goes from top all the way to bottom. But congratulations to all these who did a good job to all of them.
Good job.
And if you're watching at home and you want to see the other shows that we had, the horse show this morning, the steer show, and the pig show, you can basically go on the Aldine Livestock website, and it is there for you to watch at your disposal. Yeah. So you can rewatch.
And look, our little ones have came in. Our elementary tour is here.
Oh, you can see on that. Look, they're excited.
Farmers, here they come. Yeah.
Like maybe in the next.
Congratulations to all of our broiler exhibitors. Coming in 6th place was Giselle Martinez from Eisenhower FFA. 5th place, Hugo Campo Jr. from MacArthur FFA. 4th place, Jordan Williams, Eisenhower FFA. 3rd place, Lisbeth Padron, Eisenhower FFA. Our reserve grand champion was Zislali Padron, Eisenhower FFA. And our grand champion was Robert Allen, Eisenhower FFA.
Allen, your 2025 broiler champion.
All right.
You can see that.
Congratulations to Robert. He worked
so
hard.
I believe this is it for us for the poultry show today. Yeah. So I think we still got showmanship, I believe. No, we're not done yet. We still got showmanship, so I'm not sure, what we got going on next, but I think it's showmanship that's going on up next.
Is it? Okay. We'll find out here in just a second.
All right, so welcome back to one of our interview segments of the Aldine ISD 2024 Livestock Show. Who do we have here today?
My name's Bill Ginder with the Caldwell Companies.
All right. So how's your experience so far this year?
Oh, it's been great. We're sponsoring the buckles.
Gotcha, yeah.
And really enjoying it because we get to meet and talk to the kids and see the animals up close and personal.
Yeah. So what animal here today is your favorite so far?
Well, truthfully, I think the Mickey Mouse pig.
The Mickey Mouse pig. Gotcha. So the pigs today.
Has has a patch on its butt that looks kind of like Mickey Mouse.
Gotcha.
Easy to identify.
Gotcha. So how many livestock shows here with Aldine have you been to?
I think this is my 22nd or 23rd.
So you have a long history with.
Long history, yes, sir.
Yes. So we really thank you for coming out and helping out these kids. It's really great seeing how these kids can grow over time and how they really raise these animals and see the kickback that they get from it or the reward that they get from it. So
we're glad to sponsor it. Buy Animals would encourage anybody to come out tomorrow and buy Mickey Mouse or a chicken. It really is something. I tell you, FFA and the young men and women that participate in it. If I was hiring and I see on their resume that it says FFA, that resume goes to the top of the list. There was a young lady yesterday, two young ladies that won champion and grand champion or reserve champion and champion on the cattle. And this morning they had dressed down in their jeans and were over here with the shovel cleaning up. And I think that kind of describes FFA to me.
The work, the hard work.
The hard work that they put in. But I appreciate you. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you for coming. All right, hi. Welcome to the second segment of the Aldine ISD Livestock Show interview. And who do you have here today?
My name is Leida Aponte.
What school do you go to?
I go to Davis High School, Benjamin O. Davis High School.
Okay. And tell us about your experience here at Aldine ISD 2024-25 FFA.
Okay. This is my third year showing and raising animals, pigs. It's a great experience. I feel like this is something that every agriculturalist should experience. It teaches you a lot of patience and also many other stuff, but that's mainly the main one, patience.
So far, what animal has been the most, I guess, impactful to you that you've had so far raising?
Swines.
Yes.
Okay. My first year raising, I didn't really know what I was doing because it was my first year. But as I continued showing and I didn't give up, I kept. It's kind of like a motivation to keep going. So I just kept going, and now it's my senior year, and this is my third year raising. So it's a great experience.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So what was the process with raising your animal? I think you have how much does that animal weigh? How much does the pig weigh?
285.
85. So you have the second or third, I believe, largest pig here.
Yeah.
How does that, what process did you take to get here?
To get here, you have to know how to maintain your pig a lot. It's definitely, you have to keep feeding them every day. You can't go a day without feeding them. It's kind of like a human. You treat them like a human. I know it's kind of like a pet too, but it's more of a human. You have to know how to take care of them, maintain them. It's like a baby too, and he's like my baby. So it's like,
Gotcha. That's good.
Yes.
Well, thank you for joining us
You're
today.
welcome.
And that's all.
Okay, thank you.
Back to our show. We are waiting for our lamb and goat show. They just finished weighing in, and soon here at 1 p.m. we'll get started. Our judge is Jacob Dietze, who has judged our show a number of times, and he's a great supporter of the Aldine ISD Livestock Show. And so we'll make a first call for all of the show exhibitors.
Yes, ma'am. And for those who might not know, what's the difference between a goat and a sheep? I'm reading off the jokes that I have in my mind. I'm sorry.
What is a joke?
One goes ball, one goes bah. I looked up a bunch of jokes.
Perfectly executed. This is our final show of the day, and then tomorrow we will kick off the morning with our 11 a.m. buyers luncheon, and then followed by our self-champions. And so our week of fun events is almost over.
Yes, ma'am. And
to these animals, and I truly believe that it's going to show here today.
Yes, sir. And you are senior?
I'm junior this year.
Junior, so can we expect to see a steer from you next year too?
Yeah. You see me with a steer again next year.
Yes, sir. We look forward to it.
Yes, sir.
Very nice and exciting evening.
Got some weather outside, but hey, it's so nice in here, and it's always a pleasure to come and judge the Aldine FFA show. I know consists of a few high schools, and y'all do a great job with the quality of animals that the kids present, and then they're very well presented also. So it's always a treat to come back and be asked to judge a show again. And I really I'm always thankful for coming over here because it's a good quality and just good kids and ag teachers to go along with it. So thank y'all again. We're gonna have fun this evening in the Goat and Lamb show, and like I said, I've been here before, and it's such an honor to come back, and very, very nice. And thank y'all again for having me to start the Goat show off this evening. These three over here, they just kind of sorted their way to the top, just having a natural feel over their top. And I talk about feel, and I talk about how that muscle and that texture comes into their loin and how they settle in really nice. And some of the key points that we talk about when we're evaluating lambs and sheep is that we want to make sure we got a good rack shape, and this is a rack shape over the ribs. And we come in, we have muscle, we call this the loin, we call this the hind saddle, and how they come down and they transition down to their muscle pattern, their leg and their feet. And so, boy, really nice one. The one that starts the class is going to be the young man right here with the paint. Congratulations to him. I thought that was a forerunner in this group. Very, very nice. A good, nice, complete one too. And when we study, this one's a rib and this one's cage. Like I said, the rack shape on this one is extremely good. And we talk about handle, and I talk about handle is when I put my hands on them, how do they feel to the touch? Do they have enough muscle? Do they have enough shape for my hand? And they're not over finished. And we talk about finish being fat. I think that one fitted the mold very well for being a very good lightweight goat to start this class off. That's a very nice one. It gets pretty close between these two, the number 2 and the number 3. I like these a lot. I think they got some shape and they've got some muscle over their loin. I thought one of them just had a little bit more power. This young lady does a really good job in getting this one presented and know where it needs to be presented. And then that one just really, how we talk about how we want to brace him. And boy, she braced him real good. He had a lot of true muscle right down to his loin, downtown to his hind saddle. Very, very nice. The young lady right behind him is going to be second. Congratulations to her. Very nice, and I thought this one just had so much power and loin and shape in that one, and how that one transitions. Maybe not the deepest one in the heart, the deepest one in the belly or the flank, but still very proportional and balanced. I talk a lot about that in my goats and sheep. A very, very nice, good balanced one. Young lady's going to come in third with this one. I thought that was a very classy one of the bunch, and we talk about profile and view on that one and how that one is just transitioned so good down to the loin, but we had to have more shape over the top, and we talk about back shape. We talk about right behind the blade shape. We got to power that one up just ever so slightly. But boy, that one is built very correctly on the structure, how that one moved around the ring. We talk about foot and bone on that one also. That's a really nice one. We do lose a little bit of texture of muscle right there on the lower end of that one's leg, but still, that's a very good one sitting in third place. Young lady come right here in fourth. That is the muscle bound one. That's probably the most deepest one in the heart right there of this class. But I'll tell you one thing, just a shorter one is, boy, if we could just power that one up just a little bit on the feet and legs, get that one just a tad bit more taller. Loses some condition right over the rib cage, and we talk about shape, but the one that probably had the most power of the loin, you got one right there sitting in fourth. That's a very nice one. I thought number 3 and number 4 were a very close pair. That is a good you that young lady is exhibiting. The one comes in next also, really nice. I thought this one handled extremely good. We just lack a little muscle and texture right there to the back of that leg and back of that twist. We just need to power that one up ever so slightly. But boy, the young lady's got a good one. It's got a good rib. It's got a good shape over the loin, and how that one transitions into its body cavity, like that from that standpoint. One lady comes in next. This one just gets a little too softer on the handle. When I talk about handle, we talk about finish and fat. So we just got to trim that one up a little bit more better, get that one just a little bit more handle. But I do like the depth of heart in that one, and how that one comes and transitions down to its flank. Really, really nice. Just gets a little bit more steeper in its hip. Like I said, we just got to get a better handle on that one, but still got true muscle in that one. Round out the class with this kind of painted up dark one. Really, really nice. I thought this was a show pony of the bunch, no doubt about it. Just one that needs more time, just more greener, and how this one transitions into the body cavity and the rib and cage in that one. But boy, you talk about a big-footed one. I like the feet. I like the legs on that one. We just got to have a little bit more goat right there, a little bit more power and shape. The young man does a great job of getting that one exhibit. A very nice one to round out the first class. Congratulations, those exhibitors.
Cool, I'm back. and we are here with Ashley. Ashley is a former
Really
student.
nice middle class. Let's give these exhibitors a round of applause. This is a good class and good quality. Tell you how I place and which one's going to win the class. But boy, these three out here and then all the way down throughout, just really, really good. And maybe different types and kinds out here that I chose for the top three, but really, really nice. And I talk about four-rib, and I talk about how much these things are proportioned and they have to balance out over their loin. I showed you some of the parts and to make sure that these balance out. And I talk about handle. I know y'all can't.
Once moving to the business office as the business manager in 2013, it was time to hire a replacement for those duties. Kevin retired in June of 24 as the Chief Financial Officer for Splendora ISD, but since has served as a consultant, owner representative, and is now back full-time with the district as their program manager for new bond construction. Kevin once owned and operated a 40-sow show pig operation in the 90s under the name of East Texas Connection, and is now head grunt and owner with his family of Lynch Livestock, a 25-sow show pig operation based in Cleveland, Texas. Let's give it up for our judge, Kevin Lynch. Mr. Lynch was good enough to stay after the student showmanship just to judge these hardworking administrators. I would like to introduce each one of our participants. From the Aldine FFA chapter, Aldine High School's principal, Dr. Wiley. From the Aldine FFA chapter, our Aldine 9th grade principal, Dr. Calderon. From the Davis High School FFA chapter, Davis High School, Mr. Watkins. From the Davis High School FFA chapter, our Davis 9th principal, Dr. Nation. From the Eisenhower FFA chapter, Mr. Metcalf. Also from the Eisenhower FFA chapter, our assistant principal, Jeremy Lewis. And finally, from the MacArthur FFA chapter, our principal from MAC 9, Mr. Everline. All right, ladies and gentlemen, get in your places.
Real quick before we get on with the serious stuff, I just want to take a moment, since we have you administrative type folks gathered here today. We talked a little earlier in the day about how impressive it is to walk through the doors back there. It was been many years since the first time I walked through and have this beautiful basketball stadium and a stock show right here in the middle of it. That takes a lot of work for a lot of people, from superintendent all the way down to you guys and girls, to support something like this. And I'm very, very appreciative of what you guys do to support your ag teachers, your CTE programs, and your students of those programs, and I appreciate that. So when we get going and we start making fun of you, don't take it personal. Remember, I'm on your side. I was an ag teacher. I was a director of career technology at Splendora. I was a, what do they call, a student liaison? They're not a student liaison, but a dean of students at Splendora High School. And again, business manager and CFO. So I understand the battles that you guys deal with in terms of kids, parents, and dollars and funds and such. So it's a challenge for what you do. I appreciate you. I'm just going to tell you, it's probably a little late to tell y'all that I can be bought, but we'll go through this. We're going to take it serious. Some of you are going to be very fortunate to use some hogs that are very, very well trained, and some very well trained. Okay, so they're all highly trained. Again, it's about student, their animal, and the relationship that you build throughout the project. The last 3.5 minutes, there's probably not a lot of relationship building for you and your swine project. So here we go. Sir? I'm going to point to you when I want you to come out of your gate, and the last person standing is probably going to win, or we don't know. I mean, it depends on oxygen levels and requirements and that kind of deal. So, and then the animal side of things, we'll have to worry about it too. So, good question. Thank you. I understand you were the first guy to sign up, so you ought to be prepped. Let's go. You're first.
And
not to put any pressure on you, sir, but the young lady that owns that pig won Showmanship. So her and her pig know what's happening. Anything short is going to be your fault. Let's go, Coach. Your turn. Going to be easier if you send the gate out. Pull you. There you go. Maybe some of y'all on the sideline, tell me what this means. I mean, is he pointing at me, or, I mean, is that a threat? I mean, what do you got going on? Yeah. Okay. I'm good. Go to class. I like that. That normally gets me in trouble. I like the conversations that are happening right here between this gentleman and his swine project. You think she's listening? Yeah, think again. While they work out their situation they have in this pen, we're going to get the next young man out. Let's help her out. There you go. sometimes they just get cranky, don't they? Kind of like those kids. Sometimes it's just not their day. Watch that stuff on the backside because it takes 3 weeks to wash it out. How many of you wore really good shoes? Bad move. You now have what we call a pair of barn shoes. Oh, we got 2 more down here. I'm sorry. No, we got 2 more that let themselves out. Gentlemen, the show is over here. All right. All serious, and again, I appreciate you guys coming out. I hope this is a highlight of your day. I hope it's a highlight of your year and then going forward, because getting out amongst our kids, getting amongst their programs, getting out amongst and supporting parents as they interact with their kids during the workday, it doesn't get any better than this. Showmanship, it's a great idea. The adult showmanship is something that we do see a lot in shows sometimes, but the administrative showmanship is a very unique thing that you have going on right here. I have not run across it anywhere else in the shows that I've judged. There's some skill level differences here, just like we have in our show or kid show. There's some that are taking it serious, some that have put a little time into it, some that have gotten real lucky with their draw pig, and some that just maybe didn't draw very well today. And I'm just going to say, this young lady right here got one that's had enough. Her mouth's open a little bit, starting to huff and puff. Not you, the pig. And just that pig's about done. So she's not going to be one that we use. She's done a great job. She's been a great sport. Let's give her a big round of applause. But that pig right there is ready to go back to his pen. When we come back out here, it's got a little differences here. Again, we did a little shavings test. Basically, your animal is supposed to be clean and well presented. If you still got shavings on your pig, that may not be a perfect representation of clean and well presented, but that's okay. A brush would fix that. And you might be equipped with a brush. You might not. As we come back in this rig, one thing that we will tell you, training your pig to do tricks and lay down and sit up and shake and high five, not a fair representative of showmanship in swine. Not a bad gig if you can make money at it, but he's not winning today. We don't let him lay down. So when we get back in here, got a great group of folks. The one that I think's been the most prepared, maybe he got here early, maybe he's a cheater, been working all week. I heard that there was a ringer coming that got called away to a different interview of sorts of what have you or whatever it was, but somebody that was dead serious and been practicing. Tell her we said hi and we missed her, but today for me, the one that's got the brush, used the brush, doing a good job, center ring, is a young man right here with all the white hair like me. Good job. Rest of you guys again, let's give him a big round of applause. The rest of you administrators and other folks that are involved with Aldine ISD, thank you for supporting this program. Thank you for supporting those kids. It means a bunch to them and it means a bunch to me. Thank y'all.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, if we can have the students whose swine this is out in by their principals, their administrative staff. We'd like to get a picture of the students with their administrative staff. Dr. Wiley, turn it around. You're going to get a picture. Oh, you can just come out. We do want to get one picture of the student and the administrator. Today, our 2026 Grand Champion Administration Showmanship plaque We will have a banner also, has gone to Mr. Metcalf. It is presented by our Aldine CTE Executive Director, Brooke Martin. I was told that it's possible that Mr. Metcalf was out practicing a little extra. Again, we would like to have each administrator with their student to take a group picture. Administration, I hope you understand how hard these kids are working every day, all year. Can I have the Aldine High School student who helped Dr. Wiley, the Davis High School? Okay, you guys are putting up your swine. One picture. We've also got, again, let's give one more round of applause for Kevin Lynch. He was good enough to stay a whole extra hour for us. He's also, as he's leaving, he has placed each of the administrators in numbers order. I would like to thank Ms. Gonzalez, who is the runner of this entire program. She was good enough to get everything ready, plaques, ribbons. Again, remember, we've got Dr. Nation and Mr. Everline. We're missing you out here in the ring with your student. Please remember, this is live streamed. It will be replayed. It will be enjoyable at the next principals meeting. I think we're missing one more. Mr. Everline, your swine was great laying down. I saw it relaxing. Did a good job. That's an amazing group of administrators who came out during a very busy day after a major storm to support their students. One last applause for our administrators and students.
Mr. Watkins said it was rigged.
I do want to make it clear, Mr. Watkins, Mr. Lynch did say if you wanted to win, you could have paid, but just saying.
Concessions are still open. We will be back for a 3 p.m. steer and heifer show.